Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E. Nation, folks, for a very special chill stream. For those of you who don't know, this is the post show for Big Buckin' Empire, folks. There's no off-air post show this week. We are doing it here, K.O.E. Nation, folks. Thank you for being here. God bless every last one of you. It is I, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower. You can, of course, find me at K.O.E. Nation right here on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch. Folks, it's all right down there, somewhere in the down there-y part. Folks, thank you for being here at this momentous K.O.E. occasion. It's a chill stream. It's where we all get together and get to have some fun. I was already streaming, I was chilling, and we're going to get into that with all you beautiful people. Before we get too deep into some of the fun that we had over at Big Buckin' Empire, I want to share with you some of the fun that I had with Tony and Chicken not too terribly long ago, where we led Tony into a bit of a trap. A little bit of a trap, if you will. And let's see if this is actually, I'm going to make sure that you're getting everything that I'm getting. And it's also a good way to wait for everybody to know, come on into the pool. The water's fine. Don't worry. Oh, shit. There we go. Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E. Nation for a very special mystery review. I am your King of Extreme, Phil, K.O.E., the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes you the podcast cower. You can find me, of course, at K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch, and I am joined this evening by my indomitable broadcast partners, the one, the only,
your Big Buckin' Emperor Chicken. Find me YouTube and Facebook, Big Buckin' Empire.
And, of course,
the 14-time Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast champion, non-chill filtered, quadruple distilled, Tony fucking G. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm tonight the man in the dark. So, without further ado, I would like to know what we are doing. What are the parameters?
Okay.
What we got going?
What's going to happen here is I am going to make the pours when you walk off camera.
When only I.
Yes.
You two have had this.
Yes.
I have not.
We will see. Okay.
Oh, maybe I have, maybe I haven't.
Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I'm not going to even give you that.
Okay.
So you're going to walk off camera. We're going to give the pour. The audience will see what it is. And also, I'm sure we'll have it somewhere for the folks to see.
Okay. I
Then
can't wait to fail spectacularly.
You are going to grade this on a few 5-star scales.
Okay.
You're going to grade it as a whiskey, as a cask-aged spirit, its shelving, the secret fourth question, and then on a 5-star scale as to its actual class as a whiskey.
Okay.
And then you're going to try and guess what it is, and then the reveal.
Okay.
So there we go, T. So
this is either going to be something I love and I'm going to shit on, or it's going to be something I have shit on and you guys think I wasn't fair to.
50-50.
Okay.
So, all right. With all that being said, Tony, if you'd be so kind.
See myself out.
All righty. We'll let you know when it's time to come back in. All right. So, folks, this is the whiskey of the evening. Here it is. So, this is one many of you have heard of. Many are, pretty. You either love it or hate it.
It's an established.
You either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
That would be the best way to put it.
Yeah, give me generous support. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, this is for science.
This is for science.
All righty. And now let me stash the bottle here. And all right, you're good to go, T. Come on back.
Come on back.
The pour has been made. And Raptor Tony is here. Was it a Merry Christmas, Tony? Was it a Merry Christmas?
I just saw it.
How dare you?
I saw it sitting there. I couldn't help myself.
All right. Well, T, the mystery whiskey is now before you. So, let's take up the nose. Don't give him any hints at all. I want to see what he comes up with here. But for those at home, I'm curious to see what your personal comparisons would be with this. So, what are you getting on the nose, T?
I'm surprised. I don't remember that having such good legs.
It's got some decent legs. I'm getting, if I had to guess, I'd say Irish. Like I'm trying to get deep, but there's not a ton of nose here.
Yeah. Now, granted, we have been drinking some rather high proof
Well, I'll
stuff.
say that's
let's
the thing.
not. If
I had to guess, this would be like 80 to 90, maybe a little higher than 90 proof at best.
Okay.
I would say I'm getting like an 80 proof Irish.
Okay.
That's my instinct here.
All right.
Okay.
80 proof Irish, gentlemen. Slangeva.
Very sweet. It's got like a syrupy sweetness, a sugar sweetness. There's not a lot of honey there. It's got a texturized finish. It's subtle though.
Any grain standing out to you?
I would say corn.
Okay.
Like a corn sweetness.
Alrighty. Well, Tony, take another sip there. And then we're going to move on to the grading. And for those who do not know, we grade on a 5-star scale. 5 meaning you have to have it before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E Nation has advised you well. So, Tony, we're going to grade this as a whiskey, as cask aged, shelving, secret fourth question, and then its class as a whiskey. So, as a whiskey on a 5-star scale.
As a whiskey, I'm going to go 3.2. I'm going to say 3.35.
3.35. All righty. Little above that median line, but not too terribly.
This is kind of in my wheelhouse. It's got a very sugary sweetness, which I love. It's light. It's subtle. I'm guessing it's a lower proof, but I wouldn't mind putting this on the rocks. I don't know if there's anything else to uncover here, but I don't think ice would ruin it.
No, I think most folks at home would agree with that assessment.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
All righty. Chicken, as a whiskey, what would you give this? Without giving any hints.
Yeah. As a whiskey, this is one of without giving any hints, let's get straight to it. But
Don't listen to him,
Okay.
Chicken.
Yeah, it's probably more in my wheelhouse.
I'm gonna split the difference between the two of you and go 3. Because Now, as a cask-aged spirit,
I'm guessing this is a minimum, probably like a 2 to 4 age range. There's not a lot of complexity here. This is probably going to be like an entry-level brand, like your name brand whiskey, I'm guessing. So,
well, that's
4 years max, I'm guessing. I'm going to go...
Chicken's like, that was supposed to be a well. Well, you fucked that all up, man.
Here. It's just, if you age it longer, I think thereuld be more coming out. Flavor.
I got a little left banded. I'll ship it to you if you want to try.
Whiskey, like
it ain't even worth the shipping.
So I think Chicken will we'll hold off on ours just to not give him any hints here. So as a whiskey, 3 stars. Now, in terms of shelving, T, where would you put this?
This is probably going to be a bottom to mid range. Like this is probably something that I would have on hand all time. But it's not going to be something that I would gloat about, I don't think. Like I said, this is very basic entry level, probably pretty young, but probably a pretty tried and true brand, I'm guessing.
Yeah, okay. Now, would you seek another bottle of this, not knowing what it costs?
I'm guessing this is probably under $40. Yeah, I would buy this because it probably came off my shelf.
Okay. Now, Tony, I'm going to reveal the class of whiskey that it is.
Okay.
And I want you on a 5-star scale to tell me how you rank this as a Canadian whiskey.
Canadian. Okay. As I say, it's very light. No wonder I was thinking Irish. As a Canadian, it's a pretty low bar. So 3.
3 stars. Well, Tony, would you like to reveal?
Is it LTD?
No, Tony.
Okay.
What you reviewed
Crown.
was Crown Royal.
All right.
Good old Crown Royal.
I cannot tell you the last time I drank straight just Crown Royal.
That's why we thought this would be an interesting thing.
Wow.
And Tony, what you said was pretty well in line. Like, it's, beginner whiskey.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have it around. You could put it on the rocks. It would be fine.
Honestly, like I was thinking, like I'm like, this isn't Jameson, but it tastes like something like off their offshoot that
Right.
I figured,
but like watered down.
I figured the high rye mash would get you thinking rye, and that would bring you back to North
No,
America.
it's not high enough in a rye. It's overly sweet. That's why I was thinking Irish. But yeah, I have not had straight regular Crown Royal forever. Yeah, 80 proof.
Yeah, even
nice.
when you do have straight Crown, it's usually some of the more high end Crowns than you.
Yeah, and that's
it's,
just it.
It's usually not the big. This is
Yeah.
a classic mixer.
Yeah.
Or
through
Crown
through.
and Peach or Crown Apple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's nothing offensive about this at all. This is very easy drinking. You can do anything with it. This is why this is such a popular mixer. This is why you hear people say Crown and Coke.
I was about to
all
say
the time.
the most made cocktail on the face of the earth is Crown Royal and Coca-Cola
There you go.
on the rocks.
If it's not Jack and Coke, it's Crown and Coke.
Yeah. So, folks, this
It's
is
really
interesting.
good, though. I mean, there's nothing offensive about this. This is
Now,
a quality Canadian.
Chicken, as a cask aged spirit, where would you rate this?
Oh God, it's pretty low. I'd probably stick with the 2.5. And I'm a Crown Royal fan. I'm a huge Crown Royal fan. I always have a bottle of Crown Royal because it's my go-to mixer, and that's all I use it for. I literally just mix it with Coke Zero.
Yeah.
That's all I do with it.
To me, it would be 2 stars because it's literally like I don't enjoy this. This is the first time I've had Crown Royal neat in years, for that exact reason. But I figured this would be fun. And like Tony, you didn't fall into any traps all other than thinking maybe it was an Irish whiskey for a little bit, but you could be
It
forgiven
was just
for
the
that
sweetness and the low proof that
because
threw me off.
Crown Royal is easily to say it's a mainstream palate.
I say Crown Royal is like, it just kind of covers all the bases of whiskey. You could pretty much supplement that into
That's
any
why
other
Crown and
cocktail.
Coke is such a common
Yeah.
thing because Crown Royal is literally the Coke of whiskey.
Like if you had some
Yeah,
Scotch cocktail
basically.
and you didn't have any Scotch, you could almost use Crown Royal in place because it's just such a generic.
Jack Daniels is the Pepsi.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Unfortunately, I'm right. But well, so folks, Crown lovers, Crown haters.
So what's Jim Beam's like the RC cold?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. That's a good one.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
Shasta.
Well,
Dr. Thunder.
We're getting into old crow
I
territory.
was about to say, and then like Buffalo Trace is like one of those things that they charge you like $11 for a 6-pack of colas. Like one of those.
That
Like,
you find a high B with no sugar, but it tastes just like the
It's
real thing.
it's Pib Extra because you can only find it once in a while.
Yeah.
yeah,
Surge.
Surge,
Well-
baby.
folks, as I'm known to say around
Jolt
here,
Cola.
We totally just
Jolt
nerded
Cola.
out on pop and whiskey. This has been a fun one.
Yes.
I mean,
Wonder why we're thinking about pop when we're talking about Crown Royal.
and
Even
Elijah
like this.
Craig is basically Fago.
I was thinking best choice.
I wouldn't
Oh,
even
you-
give it best choice.
Giving it that much.
It's
huh?
like, it's
well,
like-
no, that has
it's like
flavor.
it's a best choice that you left out all night and lost all its fizz.
Yeah.
Elijah Craig 18 is like the pop that your kid grabbed out of the cooler at the family reunion, took one drink and set him to pick the table, and you find it 3 hours later.
Then you had a lot of backwash.
Yeah, a lot of backwash and a couple of flies in it.
So yeah, there we go. So folks,
He even managed to shit on Elijah Craig 18.
hey,
Had to be done.
it is the
Had to be
holiday season.
Tis the season.
So, folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, let's get out of here before this becomes more of a car wreck. Folks, thank you for being here at the KOE Nation. I hope you like, share, subscribe. KOE Nation, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. And I also hope you make it back here happy, healthy, much the wiser. Tony, we established your favorite in the world, Crown Royal. You like it more than any
I don't
other
hate
whiskey
I don't hate it.
that there ever was. It's
Definitely
clearly
don't
his
hate it.
favorite. It'll be one that he always keeps him on, and it'll be the first thing he reaches for from now on.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes. So, folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Tony, Chicken, take it away.
He's chicken. I'm Tony.
I would say, yeah, totally went backwards there. Anyway, this was almost a total car wreck, and we were almost in the ditch.
Almost.
But I pulled us
Almost.
back out.
We're barely in the.
Anyway,
a little.
Tony, take it away. Inside joke, sorry.
Vintage. Stuff.
Vintage.
God almighty.
Thank you for joining us for this mystery review. I have not had Crown in a long time. This was actually pleasant. Thank you. Glad to see you. Catch you on the next one.
Ah, yes. Tony passed out with flying colors, by the way. I was actually pretty surprised. I figured he was gonna
Smooth itself out.
get back. Tell you what I'll do if I ever get back. I promise to refabricate you, raging rivers of gold. That's what the brochure advertised. And now we're lost. We gotta take it down. Let you down slow. It's hard to survive. Oh God, yes.
Oh Lord. Well, let's see how that one went.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bandit goes, Fago isn't offensive because when I find it, it's 25 to 50 cents a bottle for a 20 ounce. You know, okay, that's fair. That's fair. If you're finding it for that cheap, you can't really begrudge too terribly hard. Like, I mean, I can understand why it wouldn't be some folks' personal favorite, but cannot begrudge if you get it for that cheap. Now, folks, there's something that I'm going to get into here a little later tonight. I'm going to do some reviews, solo reviews of these two, TX Sherry and Port finished. But before I get into that, I figured I should show you the actual video where I actually get this source material from, where me and Tony got together and actually filmed basically a head-to-head of TX Port versus Bourbon. Let's see how that one goes down, folks. Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E. Nation for a very special Spirits review. We've got a couple of exclusives from Texas here up in Nebraska, and I am really thrilled and excited to give them a try. Tony, as the folks at home might know, you and I are a bit of a fan of the TX brand.
Yes.
We love their whiskey.
Yes.
We've tried their bourbon, great stuff, and now they've got finished bourbons. And I am such a fanboy for this distillery that I was like, I got to get my hands on the port and the sherry finish, and they are here, folks. Like Tony had to basically utilize some kinfolk that lived in Texas that happened to be coming up, and here it is. So we've got Texas straight bourbon whiskey finished in PX sherry casks, Pedro Jimenez. Proud of our roots, and then it goes into the taste and such. I don't want to describe the tastes yet. That's what you come here for. And then we'll read it afterwards, see how we do. But let's get into this. I have been waiting for this since I first heard about it.
Phil's very excited. This is Phil K.O.E. at the K.O.E. Nation.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just gushing over this. Firestone and Robertson Distillery. Yes, I'm Phil K.O.E., the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E. Thanks for joining us. And I am joined here by my indomitable broadcast partner, the one, the only,
The Blendmaster, Tony fucking G. Like, share, subscribe, folks. Here we are. Oh boy, baby.
Here we go.
We are doing.
Oh, wow.
That was tight.
Yeah, that
Woo!
one. It's well sealed. But now,
Let
funny
me hear
enough,
it. Hang on. One Hulk Hogan EX whiskey, sherry finish, and port finish.
Yes.
God.
Yes, I'm just really excited about this one because I'm a huge
So
fan of this distillery. Now, I actually did some research.
Yes.
the tops that are on each bottle, it's leather and it's boot leather. It's actual boot leather from a boot company in Texas. The little symbol that they have over the Firestone and Robertson distillery logo there is actually the way that they stitch cowboy boots.
Yes.
So it's all kind of an homage to that, and I really do like it. And also the fact that, wow, this is leather right here.
Yeah.
Huh.
No, the presentation alone
And this is what I
out of
think
this
Tony's
is
gonna like.
top. No,
I
love it.
am a lover of sherried malts, sherried whiskeys. This is one of the few sherried non-single malts that we've had, other than Bushmills Black. Which is a
Right, and
blended.
you poured the sherry.
Yep. Now this is the port. There we go. That was a good one.
Very
And I
similar.
like their black synthetic corks.
Now,
It's just a little different thing that distincts them in the market.
does this compare to the bottling of the bourbon or the blend?
Well, funny you should mention that, Tony, because if we feel the need to get there, I do happen to have a bottle of their bourbon right here, which I think would be the most apropos.
Well, we'll do that.
In case we need it. I don't know if we will, but we'll see how the night goes, folks. But yes, we were introduced to this distillery with this amazing product, the TX blended whiskey, among one of the finest whiskeys in all God's creation. And we were so lucky to get our hands on some. And I'm just gonna, just the nose. Just like, so if these finished products can even get close to their blended, I think they should just finish their blended whiskey and stuff. But that's, I'm not going to tell you how to run your business, but I am really looking forward to this. So, all right, this is the sherry, is in your Glencairn, and in my kind of, I can't believe it's not Glencairn. So
Okay.
let's see how that goes.
TX sherry. That's good. Oh my god!
Quite a bit of sherry in there because you can see
Wow.
the color difference, folks. I'm going to have to show you here. It's quite pronounced.
Wow.
The two products, as you can see.
It is significantly darker.
It's not just my suit collar there. It's not just
No, because you can specifically look at the blended and see how clear that is. But
Yes, so
wow.
I'm wondering how long they left it in there, because usually you just leave whiskeys and bourbons and a sherry for a few months. But
Wow.
this is,
Okay, so when we first saw this,
they don't specifically call it, it's bourbon whiskey finished in.
so they do specifically call this bourbon.
Yes, but they're not. They have to put that finished, otherwise they can't
Okay.
call it straight bourbon.
So I believe, first saw this offering. I'm gonna say 8 to 9 months ago. Am I correct?
Yeah. Online is where we were first exposed.
We went to Houston, Texas. We enjoyed this. We also got the bourbon. We've sampled both. But we're also such big fans of Scotch and the different finishes that it brings, that sherry cask finish and port cask finish are so intriguing that this was just way too tempting to pass up on.
Yeah.
Now we have it, and we're here.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my god.
let's give it a shot, T.
This is the sherry.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that sure doesn't suck.
I was about to say,
Wow.
excuse me, their bourbon was always a little grain forward
Wow.
and lacked that sweetness. And this really fills in those gaps of the sweetness on the profile.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that is good stuff. And I think,
Wow.
I'm sure, I'm almost certain, everybody that they knew was telling them, you're leaving it in the sherry too long. But no, you get actually a pretty pronounced cherries, don't you?
Yes. I hate to overstep my boundaries a little bit, but these cough drops.
I was about to say, there is that thick
cherry candy.
Yeah, candied cherry that's coating the back. Like, yep. So we both had cherry, but different types. Because honestly, I'm more thinking of like cherry Coca-Cola or cherry Dr. Pepper, like just that cherry flavoring on the back.
Perfect sense. I love it. It's definitely a cherry flavor, but what is the ABV on this?
Well, let's find out, sir. 50.8%, so 101.6 proof.
Wow.
So quite high and does not drink like that at all.
No.
Drinks like a 93 to 85. So
yeah.
It's
wow.
That one.
That high.
Now, as much as I hate to say, that would mix well. That would mix well with a cola or what have you. Now we're just going to grade this on. Well, let's grade it as just a bourbon for now, which is
okay.
Honestly, I like this more than their standard bourbon. Okay,
I would agree with that.
Their bourbon, good stuff, but like I said, for bourbon, you're always expecting a little more. That's the word I'm looking for. You're always looking for a little more caramel, a little more vanilla, a little more. This one's very.
You want some standout qualities. This kind of does. This is kind of.
This finishes it in the way it needed.
Yeah.
So this is properly finished.
Yeah, this is exactly where you want to be. Like the bourbon specifically, like it's really nice. But all the Texans that I have talked to in my life, after Phil picked up the TX bourbon, I said, before we even sampled it, what do you think about the TX bourbon? They said, it's just slightly disappointing. Why is that? Because
the TX
it's just so missing one thing. What could that be?
That's
Perhaps it's the finishing.
Yep.
Maybe they have finally found it.
Now, I'm quite curious. What's the port? I know this is the one you're more looking forward to than anything. Because Tony tends to like port finishing a lot more than I do. I'm a sucker for sherry. Tony is
and that's this one, correct?
Yep, that's in the Glencairn or in the Copita nosing glass. So let's take the nose.
Oh, that's deep. Oh, that's deep. Wow.
I feel like it wants to smell like chocolate, but it doesn't quite. I'm getting, now shockingly, I'm getting this from a fortified wine. Shockingly, I'm getting a bit of grape.
Really?
I know.
Wow.
I know, crazy. Now, being a wine lover, that's all the better. Well, Tony.
Wow. That's amazing. Nope.
Cinnamon stick. Like, not like over the top like food cinnamon, but like if you're smelling Christmas cinnamon sticks that are left out to give ambient smell from a distance.
I'm just getting red grape and just bourbon spice.
We will have to see, folks. So, T, let's see what the palate unveils.
Wow.
A lot more chocolatey coffee comes through on the palate.
So much bite.
There is some bite.
The bite.
The port has a lot more bite than the sherry. I'm gonna guess it's the same ABV. Yep, same ABV, but more bite to it. But there's also a coffee chocolate. Now here's the thing. This one, the sherry, you can mix with a cola. This one over here, this port, that would make for a, well, it wouldn't be Irish, but it'd make for a good Irish coffee. A bourbon coffee, if you will.
I don't think that's in the same wheelhouse as an Irish coffee. But
no, but it would work in a coffee cocktail.
Yeah.
So that is quite fascinating.
Okay.
Now, what did you grade this?
Chicken raises an interesting question. Phil, when we recording bourbon tournament this year? Well, hopefully we can get together in June with all the boys, and that's when the official 2022 or 2023 rather. Yes, the 2023 bourbon tournament will be commenced hopefully at some point in June. We will see. We shall see, folks. If we have an opportunity to do so earlier, we'll take it. But June is my deadline. That's when I want the bourbon tournament to begin its recording.
This as a bourbon. We never did quite get
And to be completed, hopefully, in a weekend.
The sherry cask has a bourbon.
tough, isn't it? It's not quite true to bourbon, but it's it's improved over TX whiskey or TX bourbon.
It does not remind me of bourbon at all, and I'm going to say, God, 3.5 as a bourbon.
I'm going to be more generous than you, but only just, and give it 3.75 as a bourbon.
Okay.
Because it's versatile. Now, keep your eyes right here for the full in-depth reviews of each of these coming up. But now, this port. How do you grade TX port finished whiskey? Oh, and tawny port casks of all things. That sweet, rich, luscious port. So that's why a lot of that's coming through, because there's different types of port, and tawny is one of the better.
What scale are we on?
Bourbon.
4.
Wow. I'm gonna stick with 3.75.
No.
Okay, that's
I'm gonna
good.
go 4.
I'm saying they're both comparable, but very different in their own ways.
I honest to God expected the sherry to flow the port completely out of the water, but there is something about the fine fruitiness in the port that really
comes through in the
knocks
nose.
this one home. Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is amazing. This
So
is really
now,
nice.
Tony, both these bottles cost about $65.
Yeah.
So if you could only, well, first of all, if you could, would you pick up one of these bottles? And if you could only pick up one, which one would it be?
I would definitely pick up a bottle because the TX brand has really just surprised me as far as being a really drinkable whiskey. The blended is fucking good, so affordable. The bourbon, you know what? Texans be damned. I think the bourbon is actually pretty damn nice.
It's one that I would love to see them come out with some age statements on their bourbon, like a 6, an 8, and a 10 year would be really good. It would kind of get rid of that graininess.
Right. And they're slowly doing that. And I think slightly.
Now, Tony, was this even a question? You knew I was going to lean towards the sherry.
Yeah, I figured.
Like,
I expected to go to the sherry as well, but no,
I'm a
going
sucker for sherry. What can I say? Yep, that's...
There you go.
You say Portato, I say Sherrado. Hey, we got there. So, folks, this is quite the little introduction to TX's finished whiskeys. Do it, T.
Yeah.
Do it. The Blind Master must blend. I'm sure that's going to be awful. I'm sure nobody's going to like it.
One of my favorite.
I'm joining
one of
you
my
for this.
favorite 50-50 blends. Anybody who's got about $50 to just throw away, like Scotch, Glenmorangie, Sherry cask, Port cask. Go ahead, throw that in a cup. Lovely. And here we are going to do it with an Texas TX 50-50 blend.
Oh my.
Mm.
That's exceptional.
That's
God. And he's not just saying
Woo!
that cuts a lot of the
Woo!
cuts a lot of the heat out, enhances all of the sweet. TX.
Oh, that is a just
You're welcome.
Sugar
Just-
waterfall. Oh,
Just blend that 50-50 blend.
introduce it to some blind taste tests.
Oh, the fact that you were
You're
just
welcome.
super eager to do that. You're like, oh, it's so good. Yeah, it's fucking. Oh my god.
Sometimes I kind of joke that he's just saying that, but this time, no.
No.
That is a very good blend.
Oh my god. Woo!
Yeah.
That's nice. Again, this is 43% ABV.
A little higher than that, tape. This is 50.8 ABV.
Oh, okay.
101.6 proof.
Okay.
So
No, this is beautiful. There's a lot of caramel and there's a lot of
fruitiness, a lot
just-
of just that covers up all
Wow.
the graininess perfectly.
It does,
I am
it
a
does.
very big fan of this.
Wow.
So, Blend Master, before I send him off, any last things you'd like to say?
I'm going to give that an A. Hang on. 1 second. Sorry.
Blend Master must make a second grade.
I'm going to give that a B+.
B plus. All right. You know, I'm going to give it an A minus. I really like this particular blend of the Blend Master, but folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us for our contrast and comparison of TX, Sherry Cask, and Port Cask. I am the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your king of extreme, Phil K.O.E., signing off and handing it off to my indomitable broadcast partner, the one, the only,
The non-capital. Tony fucking G. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for joining us, folks. And stay right here for the Sweet 16 bourbon tournament. Coming to you very, very
Ah, yes. Old school, folks. That was fun. That was fun. Maybe I did. Who knows? But yes, so that was a fun video from way back in the ancient times of yore, before Tony and I got like real microphones and cameras and such. So that was actually a really fun time. But folks, now that we're all together, all of us together in this one lovely place, I was thinking, I've had this bottle for so long, both of these bottles, and I've never had the opportunity to actually get into them. And so I think this is a great opportunity to finally give these the solo reviews they deserve. Charming. My redneckery doth reveal itself from time to time. So, folks, as I'm known to say around here, welcome one and all to the K.O.E. Nation for a very long time coming review of TX Texas Straight Bourbon Whiskey finished in tawny port casks, folks. I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E., the man of the hour, the man of the power, the man that makes you the podcast cower. You can, of course, find me at K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. And we are going to get into this whiskey that I have not gotten into in a very long time. I love it's got the black synthetic cork to go with the whole color and the whole aesthetic. Oh man. This was let's see, 101.6 proof, 50.8 alcohol by volume, bottled September of 2020. So yeah, that's about the time I picked this up, or not too shortly thereafter. Now, what I love about TX, the company, they've got a marvelous blended whiskey, which is a blend of bourbon and malt whiskey, which is just the perfect marriage. One of the best. Their bourbons that they age in the Texas climate, you can definitely tell the Texas sun has a lot of influence on bourbon's general outcome, because look at how dark that is. Like, you almost can't see through the bottle. Like, only on the top you can kind of see it. The liquid is very, very opaque. And so to me, these have always been excellent whiskeys. Now for the port. Oh, wow, that is sugary. Wow, that is sweet. Like, that's almost like candied grape sweetness. Like you're chewing on some sort of like sugary grape candy, and then that's immediately what your nose hits. Oh man, that got better as it sat in the shoulder. Well, folks, Slanjiva. Okay, the thing is with a TX bourbon, it's kind of grainy. Even especially the standardized bourbon, you're going to get a lot of grain on the palate. Here, you get like grainy molasses with that grape candy sweetness. So the grain is there, but it's part of a greater concoction. I'm going back in. Kind of gives away to a bit more molassesy brownie sweetness the more time you give it. Let's let some air in there. Now, for those who do not know, we grade on a 5-star scale. 5 meaning you have to have it before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E Nation has advised you well. Now, we're going to grade this as a bourbon, as a whiskey, as a cask-aged spirit. It's shelving. And for those new to the show, the secret 5th question. So, as a bourbon, Tony and I have actually graded this previously. I gave this 3.75 as a bourbon. Tony gave it 4 stars. I'm going to revise my score now after all this time, and I'm going to give it 3.25 as a bourbon because its casking and everything is not what you would expect in a standardized bourbon. Now, we move on to whiskey. Now, as a whiskey, I'm going to give this much better marks. I'm going to move this back up to 3.75 because there's almost nothing you couldn't do with this. Like, there's almost nothing. You could cocktail this with any cola. You could put this in any whiskey cocktails. You could do some brandy cocktails with this particular whiskey. So, yeah, 3.75. In fact, I'm going to break it to 3.8 because I'm breaking the scale and going 3.8 because it's that cocktailable. Now, as a cask-aged spirit, this is putting it up against all the Armagnacs, cognacs, brandies, bourbons, tequilas, at least the Reposado and Añejo. Pretty much anything that they age in a cask. I'm going to go 3.5 because the graininess is something that I'm going to be honest. I love TX Distillery and they come out with new stuff every day that's always unique. But the first few batches of their bourbon was very grainy and their finishing fixed it. Now, the fact that they were able to fix it with cask aging is a testament to art and cask aging. So, yep, I'm going 3.75. 3.75 as a cask-aged spirit on a 5-star scale. So, excellent stuff. It just doesn't quite pierce that 4-star marker. Now, with all that being said, its shelving would be, depending on where I got more room, middle to bottom. I've got a lot of room on my bottom shelf, and I've got not a lot of room on my middle shelf. So if I get more room on my middle shelf, this moves up. But this is a middle to bottom shelf bourbon. Now, when this bottle runs empty, will I seek another one? It cost me $60 USD to acquire this bottle. Will I seek another one? Yes. This is some of the finer finished bourbons. Like, really, like, and I just love the fact that they use real boot leather here on the top of the bottle. This symbol right here on, like, you can see it engraved into the glass and on the label there. That's actually how the company that uses this boot leather has kind of a trademark stitch on the toe of the boot. And so that's the stitch that they put there. So to me, it's like, this is one of those like utterly Texas products. Firestone and Robertson Distilling, you can see that same stitch pattern is right up there too. To me, where this particular product really shines is if you've got a relation or some kinfolk that lives in Texas, this is one of the ultimate gifts to get them. Like there's a handful of distilleries in Texas that make great gifts for any friend of yours or relative in Texas. This is one of them. Because, I'm trying to think. There's a handful of them. But anywho, folks, you know what? that was this review of TX Port Finished Whiskey. As I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us for this very special impromptu review, folks. God bless every last one of you. I hope all of you make it back here to the K.O.E Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. Happy, healthy, much the wiser. Catch you on the flip side, folks. And there you go, folks. That's how the sausage is made around here at the K.O.E Nation. Ah, yes. So that was a quick impromptu review for me and you of TX Port Finished Bourbon Whiskey. Excellent stuff. Now, folks, for those who were here with me this evening a little earlier, this might seem like a repeat, but for those who don't, it's still worth the time. We're going to get into a really fun show that I was just a part of not too terribly long ago. That would be the Big Motherfucking Buckin' Empire, if you don't know it. Tony was especially funny tonight. Tony was fucking on fire tonight. Like it takes a lot to get me like rolling laughing these days. To Tony's credit, he got me there. Now, let's see, Bandit. I know it was part of Big Bug, and I'm seeing a post of another Chinese balloon over Costa Rica. Yeah, we're going to be covering that a lot more. And Bandit, if you got more to add to that, definitely drop it in the comments. Because folks who don't know, Bandit is one of the super fans here, and in fact, Bandit, I've got this knife, very special one. My daughter gave it to me when she was 5. You can see on the clip, it says, "I love you, Daddy." On the other side, it says her name. It says, "Love always," and her name. So this is a very special knife for me, Bandit. And this is the knife that I am using to knight you, oh Bandit, as super fan of the K.O.E Nation. You are now honored Thane of the K.O.E Nation, not just for a full week. That's how I normally do it, just so it's fun. But no, you are an honored Thane for the entire month of February, Bandit. So, yes, the great honored Thane, Bandit. Yes. Give him your respect, ladies and gentlemen. He is more than deserving of it. So, with all that being said, great honored Thane that is Bandit, let's get a little deeper. Let's see if you are getting what I'm giving you on this particular episode 173.
I don't
Big
want
Buckin'
to set
Empire,
the world on fire.
Check with you.
Please welcome Tom Summery. I'm here, and no white privileges are going to save you tonight, okay, guys?
Desire, and that one is you. No other will do. I've lost all ambition for worldly acclaim.
Any government is to monopolize as much violence as possible in order for it to inflict it on as many citizens as possible.
I've been on this like weird anarchist art for a few months now. This is playing by their rules, exactly how they are.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame.
You're watching the Dog and Chicken Show. Like, share, subscribe.
That's right. It's time for the Dog and Chicken Show. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Dog and Chicken Show. I am Chicken, find me Barking Cluck, as always. Looking forward to another fantastic night. All kinds of fun heading your way. But without further ado, the one, the only man, the myth, the legend, the guy that always is wearing that awesome hat and those sexy glasses, looking buff as ever. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Tony fucking G. Yeah, sorry. I said a little bit there.
Me, quadruple distilled, non-chill filtered, 14-time revolutionary podcast champion and non-copper friendly, and Tony the Rod 2.0 on TikTok. Yes, and Not feeling very sexy, but Chicken really hyped me up, so I appreciate it. Tony fucking G, like, share, subscribe, folks.
I'm a good fluffer.
Nice. And folks, I simply am the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the man too sexy for my shirt, your king of extreme, Phil K.O.E. You can find me, of course, at K.O.E Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch, as well as right here on Big Bucket Empire on YouTube and Facebook. Folks, we are ever expanding. Also, Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast on YouTube and Spotify, folks. It's ever expanding podcast kingdom. And tonight we're going to get into a bunch of crazy casts and characters. And yes. And we're also on Rumble now. We are actually on Rumble now.
I'm actually fixing the Rumble link. So
all you beautiful folks over on Rumble, thank you. God bless. Yes, Master.
It's already fixed, Chicken.
It's working.
All right. Sweet. And we got Tony. It sounds like he's in a tunnel. And we got Bark and Cluck, who's here and like. Sorry, T. But now, folks, we've got a lot of stories to get into this evening. We've got a lot of stuff to get into, but we've already got one of the great contributors, Grow the Farm Up, letting us know, living rent free in the head of Tiberius D. And Grow the Farm Up. If anyone interrupts Tony G reading the articles, Tiberius D will show up at your house and hit you over the head with a shovel, allegedly. So yeah, that
might be true.
Little callback from last week where Chicken, you had a chance to get into last week, right? You got to watch the episode.
I didn't get to watch the whole thing yet. No,
unfortunately, you're really missing out, folks. If you haven't seen it, last week's live episode really was something. But you know what? That is the past. We are now in the ghost
episode 173 of the Dog and Chicken Show, aka the post show of Truth and the Fiction.
Yes. We might have carried over a few issues from the previous show over to Big Buck and Empire. Maybe one or two.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that the audience was completely educated as to, the right things and the right way to think on things, as we will do right here at Big Buck and Empire, folks. But that was the ghost of Christmas past. Now we're into the ghost of Christmas present. Don't worry about the ghost of Christmas future. That's the creepy part of the story. But we're in the ghost of Christmas present here, folks, with this week Big Buckin' Empire. Chicken, earlier we were kind of joking.
Phil's talking to just be talking right now.
Well, it seems this
is how last week went.
Yeah.
No, I was just about to hand it off to you, Chicken, before you became a giant fucking dildo right there, like midstream. I was about to give a segue to hand it off to you, but it's like Chicken's like, I haven't been enough of a giant dildo in the last.
It takes a long time to get to England in a rowboat.
Yes. Oh god. So yeah, he needs that big dildo.
We just did the Royal Rumble on the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. Like, share, subscribe, and we had no technical difficulties whatsoever, but Phil just pretended like we did. Like, I'm just going to talk for 5 minutes before you guys even get on screen.
No, you guys had real.
No, we didn't.
No, there was no technical difficulties.
I could have talked for another 40 minutes.
You're like, I'm stalling. And we're like, why? Why are you stalling? We don't need you to stall right now.
Yeah. The Royal Rumble match itself lasted 90 minutes, and Phil's like, I need to talk as long as that Royal Rumble match.
I'm going to top Gunther's effort in staying in the Royal Rumble, and I'm just
coming in at entry number 7, Phil. That reminds me of the 1993 Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, did you hear about the Heartbreak Kid when he won the Royal Rumble?
Oh God, I was just a literal nostalgia machine on that one. So now, like I was saying with my original segue, Chicken, we were talking about the past, but now we're getting.
Where he called you a dildo.
Yes. A massive giant wig.
Before he called me a dildo.
Yes. Right. So what? This week, the stories that are of the now. What is it that the folks this evening can look forward to?
Let me tell you about something. Did you hear this? Let me see if you heard about this. You guys heard about documents the president's been holding on to and illegal documents?
Wait, funny you should mention that. I tried talking about this just last week, Chicken.
So did everybody else, but then it just became shit started getting personal.
Yes. This.
Yeah, you have been distracted. Yeah, things start getting personal.
feelings started getting hurt on one side, anyways. But and now, granted, I get it. Facing off against Phil, K.O.E, and Grow the Farm Up is too much for any one mortal to take.
It can be.
So I get it. It's more than anyone can ever really stand. So it's like an army of 50, 100, 50,000, can't really withstand that kind of force. But yes, we did have some document debauchery with the current occupant of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Not just a little debauchery. I guess we can pull the story up. Like, now that we have the full timeline, this is like everybody's like, oh my god, I don't want to talk about documents anymore. But the timeline's probably the most interesting part. Yeah. When you go to see how long this has been going, like you can talk about the Biden gas and the Biden, whatever.
Jamie, can you pull that up?
Yeah, I'm like waiting. So we can scroll down and start showing like the dates where all of this really started.
If this starts with the word Washington, good luck getting through it.
Now, keep in mind, just as a little aperitif to this chicken, the FBI just got done with another search of one of Biden's homes yesterday.
Found nothing today.
Well, yeah, you got to understand, Biden invited them into the home to look. So him and his staff had a chance to basically sanitize the house before anything happened. So you'll notice that no such consideration was given to Trump. So just wanted to point that out.
We'll get into that. November 2022, classified documents turn up at Biden's former D.C. office. On November 2nd, the president's lawyer discovered a small number of classified documents, about 10 of them, at a D.C. office formerly used by Biden after he left vice presidency. November 4th, National Archives Inspector General contacts prosecutor at Justice Department to say the classified markings were found at the office. The FBI begins an assessment to understand whether the information was mishandled. What's going on all around that time frame, right?
Spoiler alert, it was.
So so of course that's midterm time frame.
Yeah.
Now skip forward to Merrick Garland. Where'd we go there? Right signs U.S. Attorney John Losh Jr. To conduct an initial investigation mid-November, which is November 14th. Like, why, really? They couldn't get a date
November
on that?
14th, mid-November. I need somebody to explain to me what the difference there is.
I think it's because there were so many days in a row.
Like, unless it's November 15th.
Yeah.
It
was 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. They're
I'm sorry. 14 is about as mid-November as you get.
Yeah. So this is the first time.
I disagree with you, Phil.
This is probably the first time I've seen some of this ever written down and taken seriously. Mid-November, FBI conducts a search of former Biden office. It's not immediately clear whether additional records were recovered. The search was consensual and did not require a warrant. So the FBI did a consensual search without a warrant. Just like every single search they've done in the last 20, 30, 40 years, they've all been consensual without a warrant. Winky face.
Yeah. Hey, you owe me a Coke. But yeah, that one, like the consensual without a warrant. It's the way that works is like, hey,
I know that sounds
you can
dirty,
let us in, and the way that works is you can let us in now, and we'll look around and not ransack the place, or we can come back in 2 hours with a warrant and you're gonna be putting nails back into boards.
Come inside and look around, Daddy. It's so consensual.
So like when they eventually raid my house to search for stuff, it's gonna be without a warrant, and if they break stuff, I'm gonna say it was non-consensual. So can I scream like the R word at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually. Ratification?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like the Constitution was.
Revolution.
Yeah.
So
Ratatouille.
December.
December. December
I was about to say this is I don't we're down to Ratatouille. I don't know where we go.
I don't know how long chicken can dance around the R word without saying it.
I know you.
Throw a few more ideas out there before people start connecting dots.
Biden's personal counsel informs Lush that more documents were identified in Biden's garage. We all know about that one. January 2023.
The ones that Hunter may or may not have sold to foreign nationals if he had access to them.
Are you going to seriously tell me you don't keep all of your most valuable documents, whether you should have or not, in your Corvette in your garage? That's what they're for. You don't drive them. You park them in a garage that you never visit. You put, very highly sensitive material in them.
Like
we all do.
Most people that had, like, they'd at least put them in like a filing cabinet or something.
Yeah, it's a fucking convertible filing cabinet. Like, it's a convertible. That's literally what it means. You can either drive it or you can store documents in it. It converts into a filing cabinet, Phil.
It was totally safe. That's where I put my Corvette. It was totally safe.
It was Grow secure. The farm up. Consensual, warrantless wiretap in Hunter's garage. Oh.
On January 5th, not to be confused by January 6th.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we can't have two things.
And we got this in time just before January 6th, the Democrats' favorite holiday.
So Attorney General was briefed that special counsel is warranted. Then on January 9th, small number of classified documents were found November 2nd in a locked closet. So they didn't release the November 2nd locked closet in Biden's office until January 9th. 2 months, more than 2 months.
Seems like that would be something that'd be time sensitive.
Well, they wanted to give as much time. Yeah. They wanted to give as much time between this discovery and the events of Donald Trump's raid because they're just hoping that people have a very short
raid.
Memory.
Phil, you mean devil worshipping cult activities?
January 6th. I don't know if that was consensual.
That one.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, that's a boy howdy. Spicy take there, grow the fun.
January 9th, White House reveals small number of classified documents. I already said that. On January 10th, Biden says at a news conference in Mexico, first time he went there, by the way, he was surprised the documents were found and that he didn't know what was in them.
I'm not surprised that he didn't know what was in them.
No, here's the thing. If he didn't know about them and he didn't know what was in them, like I've said many, many times, and I will say it again here, folks, this is Joseph R. Biden being negligent with our national security secrets. So I want you to understand that this makes what Biden has done here worse than anything Trump has even been accused of. I'm going to say that one more time. Makes him worse than anything Trump has even been accused of. Because people say Trump shouldn't have, negligence is worse. Trump should have given back, negligence is worse. Trump should have given up, negligence is worse. It doesn't matter how you want to boil it down. Negligence with our national security secrets will be worse, and impeachment has been gifted to the House Republicans on a silver platter.
Yes, indeed. January 12th, White House reveals a second set of consensually classified documents.
The Sean Connery metric.
January 6th was consensual.
Yeah, like
consensual.
It's like that.
And if it wasn't, I'll slap her.
I was about to say, remember that interview with Barbara Walters? Sometimes you're just gonna give a woman a little bit of a slap. And like, Jesus, Sean, whoa! Like this is 1997.
No, James, I don't want to. Yes, you do.
When Barbara Walters pushed him on that interview, you see him kind of like in a non-direct way threaten to slap her if she keeps the shit up. Like
sometimes women just keep going and going and they don't know when to let things go. And I'm just like, oh no, this guy's speaking from some personal experience here. This
go back up, Justin.
In the hypothetical. Like it's like no.
Yes, it's still a yes, fellas. Remember that.
Yes. Justin, go back up. Let's finish up January here. Well, a little bit there. January 12th. So in Wilmington, Delaware, Garland appoints former Justice Rob Hur as special counsel to further investigate the handling classified documents. January 20th, FBI conducts another consensual day-long search in Biden's Wilmington residence, resulting in 6 additional items with classification markings. They said it. The search was consensual and did not require a warrant. They actually said it again. Oh my God, that's great.
It's like,
okay.
And this motherfucker, like, is he wiping his ass with classified documents? Is he using that for scratch paper? Like when he's like wanting to draw and doodle, like, hey, I got these classified papers. Grow the farm up. 15 no's and 1 yes equals yes, Sean Connery, 1984. Oh my God.
Oh, close.
Yeah.
I wasn't joking.
Oh my
Welcome
God.
to the Rock. It's like,
Yeah, it's like, huh?
I like how this consensual raid, visit.
search.
Right. This consensual search did not require a warrant. That's like saying
It's like getting on a plane at the TSA. It's a total consensual search.
that's like hiring an escort, and she says, "Yeah, you don't need a rubber."
Well, no. Here's what it really was, guys, because
And
the
now we have
FBI,
syphilis.
they know how to turn up the heat and how to really turn the screws on somebody. They came like even Joe Biden ain't above this because they could have like, all right, well, Joe, we can consensually search your residence now, or we can go get a warrant, and then you have to deal with the goddamn dumpster fire of the FBI getting warrants to search your house. How would you like that little political albatross hanging
Really?
around your
You
neck
seen what
for
we
the
did
rest
to
of your
Donald
legacy?
Trump, right?
Yeah, you saw what we just did to Donnie Trump. Guess what? The FBI, we've been the political strong arm wing of the Democratic Party for 35 fucking years, but guess what? We own you too there, buddy boy Biden. So that's basically what Biden's been, that's his January. That's what happened to Biden in January.
And then we move on to February, as Phil alluded to earlier. FBI searches Biden's, this is his vacation home in Delaware. They also consented to this search. Totally consented.
They also
Report
scrubbed
that no classified records were recovered at his vacation home. That's good. He wasn't working when he was on vacation. Like, I don't know how much he's working, but investigators take some materials and handwritten notes that appear to relate to Biden's time as vice president. Yeah, so there you have it, folks. For 3 months now, we've been, I don't know, Biden apparently just has shit laying around like everywhere, apparently,
where his ne'er-do-well son can possibly
access everything. Yeah,
possibly. Yeah, one of them he even lists as a residence. So that's God almighty.
$50,000 a month payment to his dad. Yeah, that's kind of weird. That's
Also,
nothing to see here, folks.
Also, Chicken, before we proceed, I just wanted to let any of the subscribers know, whether you have me do a gin shot or you have Chicken do shot, anything, the first person to call out a subscriber command gets to decide what gin I'm drinking the rest of the night. Is it Indago? Is it Brickway? Is it Beefeater? You get to decide what gin I'm pouring the rest of the night, the first subscriber that puts in an order of any kind. So just wanted to throw that one out there.
That's a good to know. Good to know.
It's a good little deal.
So the reason we kind of open with this whole document story, and Phil, I'm kind of glad you guys kind of pushed through it last week and kind of blew it off, because I wanted to line up.
That's one way to
line up a very special interview, if you will. And I've been asking. I know we're not on good terms lately. He calls me Rooster all the time. He gets pretty upset with me, on the regular if I push back or question anything. So I told him tonight that I would be as consensually fair as possible. I was
That's his least favorite word, especially as of late.
I told him I'd be nice and wanted to just talk to him about these documents, because I really just want to know how this is going. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the president of these United States. Hey, Joe. Welcome back. Hey, Joe.
Joe,
over here.
Joe. No.
To your right.
Over here.
To your right.
There we go.
Yep, right there.
Yeah, there we
go.
Hey,
what's up, man?
How we doing there, Rooster?
Yeah, I'm doing good, sir. Is that a classified document on your microphone?
No.
Jesus, Joe.
No, that was a microphone shade.
Wow.
Okay. So this is all consensual. I just want to clarify.
Absolutely.
I told my audience
100% consensual. We agreed to this ahead of time, just like me and the Department of Justice. You know what they stand for, right? Smashing pussy. And justice. Secondary.
Smashing justice.
I'd like to see that carved in granite above the door. The Department of Justice, smashing pussy. ... and justice.
Injustice.
It's carved in
Now that's-
limestone because limestone's softer.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. So Joe, I have to ask you. Look,
Oh shit!
No, Joe, is that another classified document?
Shit! Sorry.
okay,
God
okay.
damn
I have to ask. Like, Joe, I said I was going to be nice. So, why are there classified documents everywhere?
Look, I mean, okay. So you remember a couple years ago, right? We were facing a
Do
pandemic.
you?
I do.
Okay.
Absolutely. I got my finger on this nation's pulse. I've never been more in tune. I'm like Professor X, wearing Cerebro, placebo on my head. Like
Placebo?
I connect. Like I said, I'm a most popular president in American history. I got my
Sure.
mind connected to their minds. I know what's up. Like 2 years ago, we faced a very critical juncture in this nation's foundation, and there was a plague of sorts. And this is just like that, except it's more, localized on me and like these things, these documents. It's almost as equally bad.
So your misplaced documents are like COVID.
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like it's contagious, super contagious. I'm a super spreader. I didn't even know it. I'm patient zero.
You accidentally spread it to Mike Pence.
That's true. Like I'm not even affiliated with that man, and I was able to give it to him. Like I said, I've got my finger on the pulse. Apparently, he got too close to my pulse.
Apparently.
Oh my. So, Joe, curious, is there any
We're
more?
glad to have Mike Pence join the Democratic Party, though.
You can have him.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think he already did.
So,
As well
Joe, I have to ask, what is that? God damn it, Joe! No, like more classified documents, Joe. Come on now, man. Like, all right, are there any classified documents in your depends at the moment? The adult diapers that Jill has to change you into 6 times a day.
No, that would count as wiping, and I don't believe in that around here.
You don't consent to that?
I do not consent to wiping. I use a bidet. Another trick I picked up from COVID when we were stealing all the toilet.
What about that old video of you saying I wipe my butt?
My
That was
butt's
a
been
lie.
right.
I'll be honest. It's time to come clean. Unlike my butthole.
Okay. That's not coming clean, right?
No, that's why I got the bidet. Rooster, pay attention.
Okay.
I was about to say that's not coming clean. That's coming musty. I'm sorry.
God damn it, Joe! Another one.
Joe, come on, Joe. Like, I mean, Joe.
Is that what you do with them all? You just throw them on the floor? No wonder you can't find them.
Like, yeah,
Look, I've got a beautiful 1976 red convertible filing cabinet. It's amazing. It's very
convertible filing cabinet.
Like Tony G was saying earlier, that's why they call it a convertible. You can either drive it or you can store your documents in there. It's got a glove box. Have you never been inside of a car, Rooster? You don't know what that's where you keep the documents, is in the glove box.
Now, Joe,
Have you ever left your house, Rooster? It's like I've got to learn you every week. It's unbelievable.
Now, Joe, I'm curious on that
Joe, that's
Corvette
classified. You might
where
want
you're
to put that
keeping
down.
all the. No, Joe, come on. Did you ever notice any of the? Because you were sharing a residence with your proudest son, Hunter Biden. Did you ever notice any of the mirrors on the Corvette turn straight up?
No. I made sure to remove all the mirrors because I never. Have you ever had a vampire problem, Phil?
Oh.
What the
fuck? I just try to avoid the situation at all costs. All right.
Is that classified? Can you talk about it?
I'd rather not. I mean, look, Hillary and I are on good terms. I'd like to keep it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. That's fair.
That's
fair. I mean, now, Joe, curious. Your homes have been no, Joe. No, don't sniff the classified. Don't like Joe. No, don't sniff the classified.
Oh my God, that must.
I know
like,
the
only...
fact that it's forbidden fruit and you're not supposed to makes it all the more
Yeah,
hot for you.
Joe, just because that's a classified secret that's less
sniffing
than
the classified documents.
It must be less than 14 years old, because.
Oh God, it's classified
sniffing it.
documents from like the Obama, maybe Bush
Yeah.
Jr. and
This is
Trump.
all those missing votes from the 2016 election. Bazinga.
Bazinga. So Joe, I want to give you. I'm going to give you the stage, like I always do. Give you an
Pull that
opportunity
curtain for me, Rooster.
Well, I just, Jesus, I want you to be able to explain to the American people one last time, once and for all, what happened, and explain it to us like we're 5.
Okay, so look, when you become a highly respected politician such as myself, lifelong even, decades upon decades, I've been very prominent in the highly respected position that is career politician. Most popular president in history, POTUS 46. Check me out on, I don't know, one of those things, the social medias. And look, I got so popular that eventually I was selected to be the running mate of the second greatest president in history, Barack Hussein Obama, behind yours truly, obviously. And I was so lucky to be a part of that administration that, you gotta have a little keepsake, right? Like you can't learn everything in a day. Have you ever tried to learn everything in a day? You can't do it. And I tell you what, take that times 8, because we were there for 8 years, Brewster. 8 years. You can't learn everything you need to know about being a vice president in 8 years. You just can't.
What about the documents?
So listen, you got to take notes. You got to do your homework, your due diligence, even. You got to make sure.
Steal paperwork?
You're not hearing me, chicken. Listen, what I'm saying is you got to take your homework home. You can't leave it in your locker. You can't blame it on the dog. You got to take your homework home. You got to do it. And I just happened to. Well, I forgot to do it. I took the homework home, but I forgot to do the homework. Okay. And then I misplaced it. Obviously, the dog didn't eat it. They found it in my convertible. They've been finding it ever since. I don't know. I don't know how this shit happens. It just happens. It's like the plague.
Joe, that's the problem is if this stuff happened and you don't know how, then that means that you cleared somebody that doesn't have security clearance to handle classified documents, Joe. And so
all right, listen here, Mr. K.O.E. The clearance we're talking about, I dictate that. How dare you question my authority? Okay, like I have the most trusted staff, family, and supporting cast you can imagine. Well, just today, Hunter went out.
Stuntman.
Hunter went out just earlier today, and he, like I said, he always takes the mirrors out of my car, out of my house. Make sure I don't have to deal with them pesky vampires. Security is priority number 1 in my household and my administration. That is a promise. So I don't know what you're getting at. I don't know negligence. That word's not even in my vocabulary unless we're talking about the orange pile of pig shit that came before me.
Well, no, that's what I'm getting at, Joe, is that like if you don't know how they got there, then that means like the problem is you can talk about your authority, but you didn't have that. Joe, no.
Joe.
Put the classified documents down. Joe,
God, we're gonna get swatted. Joe, we're gonna get swatted. You keep this up. They're gonna think we have something to do with this.
See how closely I hold it to my chest? I keep it safe. It's my precious.
That one? You're keeping that one safe. I don't know if that one's consenting.
This one's lizard people.
But Joe, you didn't have that authority when you were vice president or senator. You had no reason to have any of that. You're not like Trump, who could unilaterally declassify things. You just
right?
You just kind of stole them illegally.
What your position in DC is there, Mr. K.O.E.?
Oh, I'm actually the king of extreme. So sorry, lowly little Joe. You still bow to the king.
Hey, listen here, K.O.E. You want to see a magic trick? Abracadabra, check your Hanes. I think you might just find a classified document back there, son.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Wait a minute. Wait. Oh my God! Whoa!
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
like David Blaine up in this bitch.
Fucking Joe planted documents on me. I feel violated. Oh my God! How did you do that, Joe?
This is what I'm talking about. Most popular president.
How did you molest me and plant documents on me so quickly?
Phil,
Are you the Flash?
Do you consent?
No, I didn't consent to any of that.
Oh, you consent. You will consent.
Oh
Whether
my
you
God.
know it or not, you will consent.
Joe's like, you will consent, even if I have to make you. It's like,
Exactly.
Jesus, Joe.
Feel the consensual searches running.
This is all because we refuse to wear masks. Damn it.
That's all you had to do. But no, you didn't want to play by the rules.
Hey, that's a little
so now
preview
you know
for
what?
later.
We're going to make up the rules as we go along.
That would be different from the last 3.5 years. How?
Face.
Here's a good one for you, Joe. Grow the Farm Up asked, Julian Assange consensually stored documents in your garage?
Oh,
Orange Julius. Yeah, no, it's a great place. I like to get my smoothies there.
Oh my God! I was about to
I don't
say,
know if
like,
I've got any documents at an Orange Julius, but
Grow the Farm Up. I'm shocked some lefty hasn't tried to take that. Like, Biden's tried to do the Julian Assange route. Like, I'm shocked we haven't heard that yet. Like, it's coming down the pike. But so Joe, like before we go, I gotta ask you. You've had a pretty fundamental betrayal in the last month. The FBI has been your most loyal, strong arm wing of the Democratic Party for decades. Basically, thanks to them and the intelligence agencies, you could almost single-handedly thank them for your election in 2020. Okay?
you did vote a lot. That's right.
But now your precious FBI has turned on you. Apparently, you have offended the Clintons in some way, or they see some avenue to power here. But Joe, the FBI has been all up in your business as of late, and I'm just wondering, like, you have to feel like a jilted lover at this point. Like, how are you recovering, Joe?
Well, everybody has their trysts, right? Like Romeo and Juliet, it's a tragic story. Bonnie and Clyde, Phil K.O.E. and Tiberius D. Like, not all sexual relationships are without turmoil. It happens. Like, but you work through it. You get through it.
You hear that, Phil? You guys are going to get through it.
You just got to hammer it out. Sometimes you just got to rent. You just got to rent a motel room at a seedy motel about 20 miles down the road. You just got to hammer that shit out. And you get through it.
It's great advice.
Let
Mr.
that
President.
mess be somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
Wow. Speaking from a lot of experience there, Joe.
That's a visual you wanted.
Either Joe or me, really.
Yeah, it's like all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just no.
Wow.
There's like, yeah, it's.
I apologize. I just went deaf for a second. You would repeat whatever you said.
Well, no, we were just saying, like, that's quite the imagery, whether that be Joe or me or anybody. None of it's. Sorry, Joe. Did your hearing aid go out there for a minute?
It did. It went out for about 10 seconds there.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you probably couldn't hear.
Nodding like I usually do in front of the
probably
class.
couldn't hear jack shit. Now that's now, Joe. Yeah, that earpiece. It's not just a hearing aid. That's also Joe. Put the classified. No,
you can't keep that.
No, you can't. No, Joe. You can't. Like, no, don't sniff.
All right. Joe, set that down. Last things you want to say to the American people before you get us all in trouble?
Document control tips from Anthony Weiner.
I love how you work the word tips into that too. That's great.
But don't say so.
But Joe, let us all know anything you want to say to the American people before we move on and let you go. I know you're a busy man. You got a lot of documents to hide. So
let's see. Okay. Who killed JFK? Who killed MLK? And what I like to do in my spare time. Classified.
Jesus Christ.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you just Johnny Carsoned us, folks. Well done.
you're president of these United States.
And
Good night,
fucking
Joe.
joke. Yeah. The current occupant of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I'll give you
Yeah,
that.
yeah. However
Right.
you want to call it.
And Joe, enjoy your only term. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so there we go. That was Joseph R. Biden stopping by to tell us what he thinks about things, or if he thinks, can he think, is he capable of thinking? And yes, now Tyler, you get a very special you get to decide if I, for the rest of the night, am drinking Beefeater gin, Nebraska's own Brickway gin, or Snoop Dogg's Indago gin. Just let me know which one you want, and I will get right into that. What Joe's sniffing all kinds of classified documents. Thank God he didn't Melanie, that was
we didn't know, we still don't, but we just went with it.
I ask that every time I see Joseph R. Biden talk. What are you doing about the
like
collapse?
half the women in his cabinet are women.
Yeah, half the women in his cabinet are women. Like, my God, like this man just is a gaff machine. But and we're away. You know, it's kind of funny. It's kind of like He-Man and Adam. Like, oh, hey, Tony.
Hey.
Damn it, T, you missed him again.
What I missed?
I
had to check on the kids.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, Tony, look around just to be sure, because he magically did some David Blaine shit and left some classified documents with Phil. I just want to make.
Oh my God, they're
shit.
everywhere.
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
These are worthless.
Well, next week, Dog and Chicken Show will be just chicken talking to you guys, because these two are going to end up in federal prison,
Guantanamo Bay. Because that's what happens to normal people when they do shit like that. But yeah, so Tony, I'm sorry you missed Joe again. Like, one of these days, you're gonna have to sit down and have an interview with Joe, just a one-on-one between Tony G and Joe Biden.
I would like that,
but like you just seem to keep missing him. So it is what it is. It is what it is.
We're both very busy people. I get it.
You know, and both equally as important. Like, let's be frank.
Man, that's a dig on Tony, you dick.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay.
Like, okay, yeah, we were grading on a curve. Like, Joe Biden being the current steward and occupant of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and Tony G just being Tony G of the Dog and Chicken Show and Tony the Rod 2.0 on TikTok. Like,
thank you.
You know, I mean, let's be frank. Yeah. Now, if you were to get like a Rumble on top of that, then definitely way more.
Yeah.
But yes, and also big shout out to all of our Rumble listeners too. But so that was sad.
Something.
That was sad. Every time we see Joe, it's a little more sad. It's like, wow, people decided that should be in charge. But yeah, Joe, enjoy your only turn. But so now as we move onward and upward,
we got 20 minutes till the top of the hour. I say we jump right into keep it with politics. Ilhan Omar was voted off of.
Since Tyler hasn't said, I'm just going to take a shot at Indago gin.
Fair enough. Tyler probably jumped off. He'll come back and then tell you to take another shot later. It's a little,
oh darn it,
cheating.
Well, folks, the first shot of gin for the night, and you know the toast: to fighting, stealing, and drinking. If you're going to fight, may it be for a friend. If you're going to steal, may it be a lover's heart. And if you're going to drink, by God, I hope it's with me.
Get her done.
Been a long time since I had gin. Forgot about how great it can be. Yay. All right. So, yes. Hooray, but yeah, look down at K.O.E Nation on YouTube, K.O.E Nation on Twitch, also K.O.E Nation on TikTok. Guys, sorry, I'm never above shameless self-promotion.
No, you're not.
All right. Ilhan Omar.
Ilhan Omar got voted off of the Foreign Affairs Committee.
I believe so.
I think that's which one she was on, which led to several hilarious moments that really deserve some attention.
AOC was hulking up at one point, like just like
we're gonna.
Let me tell you something, brother, and then we're gonna go wild in Madison Square Garden, brother. Like,
the AOC one was pretty. That one's probably the most famous out of here. I'll play that one real quick, and then I know Yank's got another one ready to rock and roll as soon as we get through with this. This is good shit. So this is about a minute-long video, and this is, well, it's a little bit of gaslighting. It's a little bit of drama. It's a little bit of make pretend, a little bit of defamation. It's got it all rolled into one.
Wow.
It's
That's that's efficient. Got
it
all
is.
that into one.
She's really good. She's really coming into her own. And remember last year she was wearing that oversized white coat when she was yelling at everybody, and it just looked awkward. She looked like a little kid in dad's jacket. So at least her clothes fit this time. That's good.
I a broken watch still right twice a day. AOC in terms of fashion choice is probably one of the most fashionable people on Capitol Hill. I'm just gonna go ahead and say, like,
she's no Fetterman. All right.
Like,
no.
Okay. Yeah, there's a good one. Like, no, don't get me wrong. Like the Carhartt look for dudes, it's like, okay, is that guy a student, a certified forklift driver, or a multimillionaire? It's one of those three. Like, there's no like
certified forklift operator.
Yes, but like
essentially certified.
So this speech, though, like I said, it was like, it reminded me of Hulk Hogan hulking up, and like in the 80s when he would get like sweaty and had just probably done a bump of coke right off camera right before they started cutting the promo. Hey, let me tell you something, brother. We're gonna, and then like him and Macho Man would be like, oh, and it's gonna be incredible, and like, so this was a promo where she really turned it up to 11, and so when you understand that she's cutting a promo here, then it becomes a lot more entertaining and enjoyable to watch.
All right, can we do it now?
Rock and roll.
Yeah, as long as it's consensual.
God damn it. Hit the wrong button.
Thank you. Now, as a fellow New Yorker, I think one of the things talk about here is also one of the disgusting legacies after 9/11 has been the targeting of racism against Muslim Americans throughout the United States of America. And this is an extension of that legacy. Consistency, there is nothing consistent.
Should we have a bingo card for this?
Yeah.
For the racism and incitement of violence against
racism
in this body. I had a member of the Republican caucus threaten my life, and you all and the Republican caucus rewarded him with one of the most prestigious committee assignments.
She's hulking up.
Congress, don't tell me this is about consistency.
She's hulking up.
Tell me that this is about a condemnation of anti-Semitism.
Oh my God!
Help me! You have a member of the Republican caucus.
Alexandria Mania's running wild.
An entire amount of tropes, and also elevated her to some of the highest
down, and it hurts inside.
Women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single time has expired. My life was threatened. Thank you.
Smack.
Man, I got attitude.
Oh, I like that. So
what did the note card say to the podium? Smack.
So when you realize, like, she's going, like, she's moving, she's getting a, like, because you know she's a dancer. She likes to get up and move.
I was waiting for her, somebody to just go raise the roof. Like, I was waiting for some
she was getting
old
energized
90s rap to play,
and so it's one of those, like, okay, like, you always have to ask whenever anybody in Congress makes one of those speeches. You always have to ask, like, all right, was there a little party in the bathroom maybe amongst a few folks? Because, like, since the 80s, you've had to ask that question.
Phil,
okay,
Phil, I don't know what you're implying, but you obviously didn't listen to a thing that she said. We're targeting people of color. Nothing white is entering her body.
Yeah, it's funny. Targeting people of color while she, like, literally is bashing people and accusing people of doing all kinds of shit. She said Marjorie Taylor Greene was talking about Jewish space lasers.
Tony, while I don't appreciate the content, the structure of that joke was like, yeah, I'm sorry, you needed every word of that joke to make it work.
Yeah,
like that.
I was trying to move on past it for you, Phil, but
but like, so yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene and her have been getting along really well lately. And like, what was? I don't know if you had it.
I love Grow the Farm Up's comment. This is great. Have been pulling it up. I have no mouse.
Okay, all right. As a New Yorker, can you smell what the Ocasio is cooking?
That's great.
Like, oh yeah, that
Nation
was
of domination.
like that
We
was an
are the
old
nation
school
of
like
domination.
1999 style Attitude Era promo. Like that's what that
Yeah.
was. And so it was like I said, if you're looking at it as a piece of performance, sublime. Okay. If you're looking at it from the perspective of how the future of our country can possibly move forward, it is absolutely fucking chloroform.
I know I'm not her demographic and I'm not her key like sheeple to
Oh,
influence,
but you are.
it wasn't I don't know.
You can be if you want to be.
I wasn't impressed by that. That came off as like whiny and belligerent.
Oh, you
which
need to
it
watch the
was.
rest of them.
Tony,
No, I'm good.
Tony, you got to understand though,
Life's too short.
we're not her fans. To her fans,
exactly.
that
I
was,
know. I-
if you want Stone
I
Cold
led
Steve
with that.
Austin to stop a mud hole in their ass, give me a hell yeah. And every Democrat that I've ever met in
I
my whole
led
life
with
that I
that.
know on Discord and Twitch is, hell yeah!
Right,
And so
I know. I
beautiful
led with
fundraiser.
that. It's pandering to her audience. Yes, of course it is. But you're not going to win anybody else over with that because the delivery, while it was intense, it was very uninspiring. It was just a fucking word salad. Like,
Well, it's like I'm
not
sorry, like I always got to push back on this. You're not going to win anybody over. To me, at this point in this year of our Lord 2023, if you can point to me somebody who is undecided as to what they think about the Republicans and the Democrats, I'm going to either you're pointing me to somebody that's a political neophyte that's just new to the game and doesn't know what they're like, doesn't know anything, or you're pointing to me to a goddamn liar. Okay, like I'm sorry, like all the folks are like, I just don't know. I'm just so moderate. Like, I'm not talking about you, T, but I'm talking about some other.
I feel like
Yeah,
you're
but he
talking
kinda
about me
was.
a little
No,
bit,
not
yeah.
you, not you, but it is pointed at some
Totally
other
not
moderate
you, as I point
Totally
directly
not the
at you.
moderate.
As I
Yeah.
point at you, but like no, like
Fucking normie.
I'm sorry, no, it might have been.
I'm not pointing at you so much that I'm legitimately going to bring you up immediately.
Yes.
Like,
Well, no, like
I'm
because
going to
whenever we
mention
get
you
at
by
the moderate
name.
normie,
That's
Discord,
how little I'm pointing at you.
yeah. Totally didn't mean you, Tony G. I'm not even going to mention that.
He holds up a
Are we
portrait
going
of
to talk
Tony.
about it?
Totally
No,
not
we're not
talking
going to
about
talk
you,
about it.
T.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about it.
Definitely not you there in the top right corner of the screen there, Tony G.
But no, like when it comes to the undecided voter, like the undecided, like I just like if you were somebody that was undecided between like Trump or Biden, or you're going to be undecided between Biden and DeSantis or Biden and Trump in the rematch, which the rematch will be pretty sweet. Like I don't even know what to say because our politics have gotten so much more disparate over the last 2 decades that like people who you say, oh, the parties are exactly the same. Not anymore. I mean, like you clearly get two very different outcomes when you vote one or the other. So like I think the idea that there's truly like I've seen a couple of times. It's like when we had it with tomfoolery, when we had it with Tiberius D, they're like, well, no, I'm a moderate that's a little bit on the right. And then when we really examine the idea, it's like, well, no, I'm just a moderate.
You're like one of the farthest left people we've talked to. Okay.
Yeah. Like it's like, so, okay, so you self-identify as being
That's
on the right.
Pretty much every lefty, though, kind of goes, well, I'm a moderate. You're like, no, you're not.
Yeah. Once you start drilling, I was like,
it's like Hassan Piker. Yeah, I'm totally moderate. Like,
oh my god, that
you're a communist.
Like, yeah. Now, granted, he's perfect. He's like so, like you know how Pokemon when they get to their final form, he's a socialist in its final form because he's having other people pour money into him, giving them nothing in return, and just pouring splendor and luxury all over himself. So
and
yeah,
then
that's
bitches
socialism
for them. Yeah.
That's socialism's final.
Because I can't believe how poor you guys are. You should give me some more money.
Exactly. And then he'll make fun of people for being poor. It's like,
and then he'll call somebody a grifter and just laugh. Like, okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like,
anyway, well, let's stick on with the Ilhan Omar, because the most hilarious part about this whole thing. So like all the squad comes out, like one of them cries and like they make this big performance, and there's like nobody like listening. Like if they zoomed out, there's like nobody sitting down in the chambers actually listening to all these arguments. And then they all come in for a vote. So Justin, we can start pulling that one up of they do have a small video clip of the vote, and it is amazing. I don't know if we're there. Yeah.
Those in favor say aye. Those in favor say no. It's the opinion of
Perfect.
I gotta do it again.
The audio was legit.
those in favor say aye. Those in favor say no. It's the opinion of
Wow.
It's perfect.
That's
It's
a little
perfect.
too on the nose.
They made the meme real again.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow. That that's
I love it
that's
when
a little
memes-
too on the nose.
I love it when
government.
Pinocchio becomes a real boy and memes become real life.
That was your House of Representatives screaming no, like a meme.
Children. Like, Tony, what gin you want? Brickway, Beefeater, or Snoop Dogg?
I would like Brickway.
All
My-
right.
My favorite part about the screaming though is like that it she lost a seat. It's not like somebody died or she's losing her fucking her like position in government. She doesn't get to sit in
Yeah,
meetings.
she lost a chair.
And she's
Now
gonna
it's,
get it back eventually when the Democrats take the House again. So it's like
Now
it's
it's like
not
when-
a permanent thing. Like get over it. It's not a
when
big
Ty
deal.
was cynically saying that he doesn't trust Trump with national security secrets, like to me, it's like, all right, well, a lot of folks on the right also don't trust Ilhan Omar, Swalwell, Schiff, and the like with national security secrets. So if it's good for the goose, good for the gander, but also grow the farm up here. Yeah, even if you're not enthusiastic about the wider GOP, the left has gotten dangerous, and most people without huge narcissistic egos are realizing how dangerous the far left has become. And folks, to perhaps better days for future generations that will wise up to the weird, wild, wacky ways of our world. God bless.
No.
Ooh, that 48-hour filtration at least helps a little bit.
A little bit. A little bit.
All right.
All right.
We have literally sent intellectual 12-year-olds to Congress. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, there is no IQ test to get into Congress.
No. On either side, by the way.
Mm.
All right.
Good. Tony, chug.
Sorry, buddy.
Chug, 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 chug. Ziggy zaggy, ziggy zaggy. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, yo.
I was
All
like,
right.
do I? Oh, okay, you're right. I thought you were gonna have to
I
run
got
the
one.
first one. Okay.
It's consensual.
God damn it. Good thing you didn't drop any of those during my shots. I would have spit taked. Okay. Cody's just like, thank God I waited a half second to hit that
Yep.
chug. Consent sliding down your throat.
Yeah.
Got it.
We never did talk about what we're drinking tonight. I'm like
We
doing
didn't.
some little Buffalo Trace, but then right now I'm sipping on Macallan 12, the Sherry Oak. Sherry Oak
man.
cask. I haven't had scotch in a while, so I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna crack open some scotch.
Tony,
like,
what are you
boy.
drinking on?
I have been sipping on
Oh,
rum
super
cask.
yummy.
I'm a little jelly, but I think I got at least something close. Maker's Mark, the cherry on top.
Oh, yes.
This is actually an entrant into our Sweet 16 Maker's Mark tournament, which is going to be dropping right after the Irish whiskey tournament concludes on K.O.E Nation. So, something to keep your eyes on there, folks. That one was interesting because we had the Lincoln bracket, the Hy-Vee bracket, an Iowa bracket, and a South Dakota bracket. So I don't think anybody's done at nearly as exhaustive Maker's Mark Midwestern.
That was a lot of
competition.
Maker's Mark.
God, that was fun.
Delicious.
Yeah. So that's coming up soon. Oh Lord. Okay. Hang on.
Oh
Go to the
wow.
farm. Sean Connery. Oh God damn it. Gin and juice. Lay back.
With Phil drinking gin.
All right, Trey. Do you want me to do Brickway Nebraska gin, Snoop Dogg's and Doggo gin, or do you want me to do Beefeater London Dry gin? I will let you decide that, sir. So, God Almighty, what were we talking about? My mind just went blank.
We were still talking about 8-year-olds running our country. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, with the more politicized our country is becoming, we're now getting to the point where literally the Democrats elected a dead man just because he
Yeah,
had a
that
D next to
actually
his name.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, beef eater, son of a biscuit. There's not much left here, so thank God. Now, guys, Chicken, you know how much I respect a lot of things Scott Adams says.
Yep.
And he had an idea the other day, which I really liked, but it's not really possible. But I liked the impetus of the idea, and it was the seed that planted a much better idea in my mind. Because he talked about, and this is true, one of the greatest things that happened in our civilization was the separation of church and state. That was one of the best ideas in Western civilization, right next to not shitting in our own river where we get our drinking water.
That's
Okay,
fair.
it's that good of an idea. And he had the idea of separating politics from corporations, but you can't really do that, like, because there's some corporations that are just going to pander to politics. But what we need as a species is a separation of science and politics. If we are going to allow science to be politicized to the point where political pressure can now make something a scientific reality, we have no chance as a species. We will not survive 1 billion years as a species if we cannot separate science from politics, because right now the two are inextricably tied. That will be the great, sad legacy of the 20th century and the first quarter of the 21st century.
Because of an opinion like that, that was probably one of the smarter things Scott Adams has ever said, because we all lived through what happens when science and politics are conjoined. Then you become the science.
Yes. Well, his was separating corporate from politics, but like literally on the drive back, it was where the idea of me, like, we have to separate politics from science. That will be the next great revolution of the next generation. And Trey Powell, London Dry Gin is with a chagrin and not a grin. God bless.
Yuck.
Why? God,
Kinda made me
Nebraska's
wanna
gin is
throw
better
up.
than London's gin. God almighty.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
many gin shots have I done tonight, T?
That's only
That's
3.
3 or
Okay.
4, yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
take it. I'll take it. All right, but that's just been an idea because we're talking about politics, and it's something that, because we're getting so politicized, we have to find a way to divorce our politics from our science. Otherwise, I mean, we saw over the last 3 years, folks. Every one of us saw what happened when science became politicized, and none of us liked it one damn bit.
I don't feel like science being utilized as a tool or a weapon of the government is a new concept, but I don't think it's ever been so prevalent or obvious to a large portion of the public.
Yeah, it's kind of like before. It's like, I don't think that, religion has been a huge tool that the government's used, but as of late, it's gotten like, the folks at like the Renaissance and like the Crusades could say that. And so unfortunately, we're getting to that point where and all right, I'll just read this real quick. Grow the Farm says, if you make all, quote, IRS approved science organizations and grab that tax exemption, you might actually be able to get that done. You're going to get a lot of boilerplate university funded science. Imperfect. I'm not saying that there's going to be a few bumps on the road.
As long as it's consensual, like, I guess we're okay with it.
Yes, but like the idea that like our science can be influenced by politics is a terrifying notion that has only really sunken into the body politic and
possibly have killed hundreds of thousands of people in the last few years.
Maybe we will let the audience decide that.
Ray
Facebook
brings up a really frustrating comment here. Facebook timer has.
Yeah, I didn't get alert either.
How long have you been rolling tonight? Yeah, we started an hour ago, and here's the thing: we've been begging everybody, like, yes, subscribe to us on Facebook because they don't give a shit about what we say or do. Blah blah blah. It's so much better than YouTube. Blah blah blah. Here's the problem: every time I get a notification for this show on my phone,
it's like 2 days later.
No, I click on it, and immediately it says couldn't load video. And then the notification fucking disappears. That's if I get the notification at all. So while we do appreciate the platform that Facebook gives us, their ability to notify the people that want to watch us has become absolute dog shit. I don't know what's going on there, but they've got to fix this. There's got to be a workaround. There's got to be something else we can do. And the only thing I can think about immediately off the top of my head is you can become a paid subscriber for $5 a month on Facebook. But other than that,
yes. But yeah, like the social media platforms, they're always trying to hold down this amazing content to stop us from getting out to you beautiful people. But if you do, I mean, folks, send us to a friend, because like if you haven't told your friends about us, can you really call these great people your friends? So I mean,
Not
you're
only
just
that,
withholding.
Hey, if you don't want to deal with if you don't want to deal with Zuck or Wiki, you can join. We got 8 over on Rumble watching right now. You can join those guys because they know what the fuck's going on. So,
hey,
great platform.
Rumble, if you've got anything you want to say, comment wise, drop it in there. We'll pop it up one way or another.
Or might just have to read it. I haven't figured
Grow the
out how to
farm
do
up.
that yet.
Right.
But better than what the next 20 years hold if we allow this to continue politicizing jabs, etc., or jobs, or what, I don't know. God damn it. Tyler Williams says, now you can choose Brickway, Indago, or Beefeater.
And no, Trey, you got your first one in before we hit the top of the hour. So the new hour just started.
Son of a biscuit. Hey, chicken.
Oh, sorry. Was that classified? Did you not give consent to share that information?
You're keeping classified information, just like throwing it all out there, chicken.
Oh shit.
Tyler says pick Snoop Dogg gin is closest to me.
One that tastes less bad.
Well, this one was just a less of a reach.
It's a man who loves his gin. I didn't have to reach my arm as far for this.
Well, Phil's taking that one there. I'm gonna use the little boys' room. If you guys want to start the next story, we got there's 2 articles. It's all about war with China. So I know Phil's got plenty to talk about China, and I'll jump back in.
Okay, well, we'll stall for time.
Okay, fair enough. I'll be back.
All right, well,
not
folks.
Another one of those Joe Biden.
Oh man, I'm shocked Joe didn't pull one from behind his ear.
Everywhere.
Well, T, you know what? I'm gonna take a solo layout for a second here, folks, and this is another shot of gin for all you beautiful people out there at Big Buckin' Empire. Folks, if you're not a subscriber to Big Buckin' Empire on Facebook, you don't get to tell the performers on this show what to do. You don't get to tell us what to do at the drop of a hat. To do that, you got to be a subscriber. And folks, I am not a fan of gin. It's one of my least favorite things, but here I am for you beautiful people, for the Big Bucket Empire, for the K.O.E. Nation, for the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. Folks, this gin's for you. Yummy, yummy in my tummy.
How was it?
It was gin, Tony. It was gin. All right, now, folks, we're going to give that.
So delicious, right? Got it. I'm just glad. I'm glad that we've discovered something. So I'm glad to have found something that you love almost as much as politics in gin. And it makes me so warm and fuzzy to know that so many people weekly care enough to tune in to the great Big Bucket Empire and the Dog and Chicken Show to make you enjoy more of it. It warms my cockles.
Oh, thank you, T. It's like I'm shocked you guys haven't tried to convince me to do like some sort of extended gin tournament.
Yeah, well, no, because then you recruit us to be a part of it, and I wouldn't want to step on your toes.
Oh, okay. That's one of those that you'll let me outsource to some other talent. Yep, Tony would be just fine with
gladly.
Now, actually, folks, now that I'm finally back with all y'all beautiful people, I've decided it's time, because I've gotten into one review of the port cask finished right here, but I never did get into the sherry cask finished. So I figured, you know what? That's what I'm going to do right now. Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E. Nation for a very special impromptu review of TX Bourbon, Texas straight bourbon whiskey, sherry cask finished. I am your king of extreme, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes you the podcast cower. You can, of course, find me at K.O.E Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. And tonight, we're getting into an excellent 101.6 proof, 50.8% alcohol by volume, bottled September 2020. Sherry cask aged Texas bourbon in that hot Texas sun. But yes, folks, this is an excellent, excellent bourbon. The TX distillery, Tony and I kind of have an affinity for, because when we went down to Houston for the Royal Rumble, we picked up a bottle of TX whiskey and a bottle of TX bourbon. The whiskey we drank in the hotel, the bourbon we brought back, and I still have that bottle. The whiskey we really, really enjoyed. The bourbon I always thought was a little grainy, but had a lot of potential. And then these finishing series came out, and it pretty much fixed the problems. And so, the Texas straight bourbon whiskey finished in PX from Firestone and Robertson Distilling. Now, folks, to read the back, this calls for the glasses of extreme. Yes, folks. So, proof of our roots. We tirelessly committed to capturing the terroir of Texas, from locally farmed corn and wheat to our wild Texas yeast and maturation in new charred oak barrels. This Texas straight bourbon whiskey, finished in PX sherry casks, brings forth tastes of, and I'm not going to say those yet, I'm just going to cover those up, farmed, distilled, and bottled in Texas. So this is a very interesting, so I suppose technically, like, they don't put it on the bottle, but, and so I'm sure there's some regulation, but technically this is looks like it's pretty much a grain to glass operation for this particular product. I know that for their TX blended whiskey, excellent stuff, one of the best you'll ever have, honestly, and I say that with no hyperbole. That bottle of blended whiskey will be some of the best you've had. Just excellent, excellent stuff. It's a blend of bourbon and malt whiskey. So that one's a little interesting. But this one, complete Texas product. Hey, will you look at that? And also what's neat is the top here is actual boot leather from a bootmaker in Texas. And the little symbol there above the Firestone and Robertson Distilling. And it's on in the glass, as you can see. And it's there on the top neck of the bottle, is apparently the stitch mark that the bootmakers put into their boot. The toe of their boot is kind of like a trademark. And so that's just neat to me. So this is just like Texas in every way you can imagine. But what really matters here, folks, is how it hits the nose and the palate. So first, let's let some air get in there. Now, let it hit the nose. Very dark chocolate, grain, and an orchard fruit. This is a good one. For 101, you can actually stay in and really observe the nose. Like, there's some whiskeys where the nose is really hot. You can stay in for just a second or two, but this one really lets you kind of luxuriate in it. Marvelous. Marvelous. Definitely picking up raisins. Definitely a lot of raisins. Because, well, sherry finished. And PX sherry. I mean, like the Whistler, Irish whiskey finished in PX sherry casks. Excellent, excellent stuff. I mean, there's so many excellent whiskeys that Pedro Jimenez sherry just takes to the next level. This one I recall being very, very impressed with when me and Tony tried it a few years ago. But it's been some time since I've been into this bottle because I've been getting deep into my whiskey journey. But I saw this and thought it needs its just due and its own solo review. Damn, I'm good. So, Slanjava. Interesting. Okay, on the palate, it's initially butter, toffee, and grain. And then when you open your mouth and let oxygen hit your mouth, spice overwhelms the palate. Interesting. I'm going to go back in for another one. Okay, that second taste, the molasses gives way to a cocoa powdered chocolate and some oak influence. A little bit of oak is in there. Not heavy, not offensive, but it's there. Um, Interesting. Interesting. One more. Why not? Yep. Chocolatey cocoa powder, almost not heavy, but slightest hint of coffee. So, for those who do not know, we grade every whiskey on a 5-star scale. 5 meaning you have to have it before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E Nation has advised you well. So we're going to grade this as a bourbon, as a whiskey, as a cask-aged spirit. It's shelving, and for those new to the show, the secret 5th question. Now, I know technically it's a finished bourbon, but we're going to grade it as a bourbon. There's enough great finished bourbons out there to the point where I think it's fair enough to give it that rating of just straight up bourbon. All right. So, on a 5-star scale as a bourbon, Tony and I actually did rate this on a 5-star scale as just a bourbon years ago when we did review this for the first time. Now, Tony gave it a 3.5 as a bourbon, and the sherry finishing did kind of throw him off for does he give this official points. Me, I loved it, and I gave it a 3.75 because I think it's just it's excellent, excellent, excellent bourbon, but I could understand how a Spanish sherry casking as a bourbon purist could see that as not quite worthy of a 5-star. So I totally get it. As a whiskey, I'm also going to give it 3.75 because while very good, it's limited in its cocktailing, to be honest with you. I think like this one, you could do an old fashioned, a bourbon Presbyterian, even cola. I don't know if I like maybe like a cherry cola or something like that to complement the sweet, but even then I don't know. So I'm gonna go 3.75 as a whiskey. Now, as a cask aged spirit, putting it up against all the cognacs, armagnacs, reposado and añejo tequilas, Canadian whiskeys, Scotch whiskeys, Japanese whiskeys, rum, anything that's not white rum, basically, anything aged in a cask. I'm going to go 3.9. 3.9 stars, almost 4 stars, because this is an achievement. And because I know what the bourbon is, it's very grain heavy and it's very pronounced flavors. And this, like, takes that, but rounds out all of its edges perfectly. So this is sort of an achievement in cask aging. So for that, I have to give it appreciation. So yes, 3.9 stars. Now, in terms of shelving, this is a middle to bottom shelf, depending on which one has more room. Like right now, my bottom shelf is getting kind of low on like not many bottles there. So this might go there just due to, but if my middle shelf gets a little light, this will definitely be moving up there. So this is a middle to bottom shelf. It's not quite a top shelf, but I'd be hesitant to say it's a definitive bottom because it's not. It just depends on your taste. If you got a whiskey sweet tooth, this one might be worth checking out. The secret 5th question is, when this bottle runs empty, will I seek another? Well, it cost me $60 USD back in 2020-ish. So I would definitely seek another one out if I could find it. I've also heard that there's some expansions to their finishing series. So before I go diving into another bottle of this, I might look a little deeper into TX Bourbon's different finishings that I've been hearing about, just because, well, I've been a big fan of this distillery ever since 2020, when me and Tony went down to Houston, Texas for the Royal Rumble. And that was, yeah, I mean, when we tried that TX whiskey, we were like, is it really this good? Or are we just so happy that we're at the Royal Rumble? And I really thought it was that. I thought it was more in our head that we were just so happy it was the Royal Rumble. But in reality, no, the TX whiskey was that good. And that was amazing. And so, folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining me for this impromptu review of TX Sherry Cask Finished Bourbon. I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E., the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes you the podcast hour. You can, of course, find me at K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. And I hope you all find your way back here happy, healthy, much the wiser. Catch you around, y'all. And that, folks, is how the sausage is made. And we got, hey, the freak. How we doing? How we been? It's been an interesting evening. I've just been going over some show appearances that I've made as of late. God, of course. Like, I'm just trying, like, every single time I film something goes slightly wrong. So it's like, of course, there would be like an over-the-top glare from that one little piece of glass there. So that makes sense. Because it's funny, every time I've tried filming a video in the last few weeks, something goes wrong. So I'm just editing around it at this point because fuck it. Like, I got the content, let's roll. Actually, there's one series of videos that we made where it was way too bright. So Tony had to darken it down, but the way he darkened it down made it look like almost like old Western 19 old timey footage. And so I'm calling those tapes, those particular videos, the burnt film sessions. And so, yeah, like, that's one of those, like, rather than scrap it, let's use it, but like turn it into something. So I like it. It's the burnt film sessions. But how we doing, all you beautiful people? I hope this evening finds you well. But yeah, this is just a little earlier. You missed Joe Biden making an appearance, but there's plenty more good where this came from. Me and Tony and Chicken talk about China and the world.
Tyler Williams, see, when I saw you for the first time at the cabin, you should have never said you love gin so much, buddy.
Oh, Tyler, we love you. Tony Gin.
I knew that's why.
Oh, snap.
I knew that's why he left. I knew that's why.
Fuck you, drink gin.
Hey, Chicken, when you get back, gin. Fuck you. You can play that.
Wow, that just saved me 2 gin shots this hour, folks. I am really relieved right now.
I'm not even going to fucking waste a glass on this.
Just chug, 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 chug. Trey, I keep trying to make the gin tournament a thing. Oh God, why, Trey? Like that's gonna be really great on a curve. Like, okay, which gin sucks the least?
Well, you will. I will see to it. Okay, LTD.
Like, I mean,
Canadian
Joe
straight,
Biden was
whatever.
able to get some.
We'll wait. Why
documents in
don't
my
you drive
hand.
to the nearest gas station real quick? We'll wait.
Wow, Tony's like, yeah, he's got a gas
I know
station
there's
just
one like
few
a block
blocks.
away from you.
Yeah, so you just go in, get the cheapest gin they have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he does have LTD at his house, should we like that? We could settle for LTD.
You better pick up a bottle of gin for the next live because Fuck you, Chicken. Fuck you.
Chicken's like, I don't drink and drive. Well, then you best get on your bicycle and fring.
You can
It's
walk. We'll wait.
It's probably literally like 3s of degrees out, so you'll be
I
fine.
bet it's gorgeous.
Oh, it'll be great. Chicken, 2 shots of LTD. So, my. Thank you, Trey. I can't wait to meet up, Phil. It will be a great time, I promise. Like, oh no, Tyler. That's kind of like one of those, Phil, I got something for you. And it's what you deserve. And I can't wait to see the look on your face when I give it to you. Like, uh-oh, that's
Consensual.
yes. Minus 14 tonight. Well, then, if you think about how it's only one block, it's minus 14, and your body is 98.6 degrees. By the time you get back, your body's going to be like 82, 86 degrees. You'll be fine.
6 bottles. Ooh, baby. 6
Jesus
bottles.
God.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Okay, so Chicken obviously needs to pick up a bottle of gin for next week.
Yep.
That's 1. 2, I'm hoping to have a surprise or 2 for next week's show. I'm hoping.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be great.
Or 3, I could just bring back Tiberius and we just like shit on the whole show and just like yell at each other.
Phil's in timeout. Just like that.
But fine equals dead. Like, nah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah. 2/3 of last week's show was just Phil and Tiberius like hate arguing at each other. It was like parts of it were great. Mostly the parts where I almost interjected.
Almost. You almost got a word. Like, Tony, to your credit, you almost did get a word in edgewise.
Almost.
Almost.
So close. Like, I was right there. It's fucking close.
Chicken goes, yeah, Phil, that wasn't consensual. Like, oh, the cold, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Trey, Jesus Christ. But yeah, so that was a fun time. That was a fun time last week. And like Tiberius, I'm sure he's gonna be sending me a Christmas card. I'm sure it's all good.
I would check it for pubes.
Fair. That's fair. So, Tony, moving onward and upward, China. We're going to see China, a war with China. Now, I mentioned Peter Zihan or whatever. He's basically Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate for moderate normies. He's been calling for you.
Hang on, Phil.
He's been he's been calling.
What's been going on, fellas?
Nothing, Dick.
I feel love. Feel love. And Phil, when I said it wasn't consensual, I was talking about the Tiberius thing.
Oh, okay. Well, he just needed to acquiesce to the fact that my arguments were better. Like, that's basically what that was. And it took a little time, but he eventually aligned. So, all right.
This is my last bottle.
2 shots of LTD.
No, it's not.
It is right now, but
not for long.
So, 2 shots from who?
One from Tony.
2 total. Okay.
Yeah, one from me and one from Trey.
And I was like, Trey doesn't get to give me 2 shots. He already made Phil drink gin.
That's true.
Oh God, I'm tremble whenever I fucking like get ready to drink this because it's so goddamn bad. Cheers, folks.
Oh, that's
gotta wash that one down.
Wash down that liquor with more liquor. That's the way.
With good liquor. Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, God, made good liquor taste like shit.
Let's say your tummy's just loving it.
Yummy in my tummy.
I am trembling.
Oh my God, you filled that to the brim.
Chicken's like, I'm getting shit facing that. Fuck you.
Let's do it. No cheers, no special fucking quote. Fuck you,
Ziggy
Phil.
zaggy.
Oh, you gotta make everything so like. Now I can't one up Phil on that one. God damn it.
Consensual.
Sliding down your throat.
That was close.
I should have said it quicker. Damn.
Yeah. Concession. Back to Big Buck and Proper. Just the OG3 with Yank putting it down for all of we. Yes. Thank you.
Hell
bro.
yes.
Arm up.
Speaking of, I think Yank's got something for us.
Don't go over the line, chicken. One toke over the line, sweet
Yeah.
Jesus. One toke over the line.
Oh,
Down
I like going over the line.
Railway station.
That's what most of you guys love me for, right? Is going over the line.
All right. So what in the world is this?
And what is this? I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I don't have any audio. Yank.
No audio. Nope. You got to click the little.
Damn it.
You
Yeah,
Damn
you
suck.
gotta
Oh,
It was gonna
unsure
be
that screen and
seamless.
start it over.
It was gonna be seamless.
Was this something you guys have conjured up?
It's something he put together.
this is something I know nothing of.
Me either.
I caught a preview of it.
Oh no.
Is this Tony cutting a promo?
No, it's not. Thank God.
You need to click the. There we go.
Chicken show.
So this is our original intro song.
Retro.
Yeah. Why does it say my name over you? Was I that bad at editing?
This
Yeah,
is
apparently.
episode 2.
Oh wow.
At Dose. Still got to do some editing on that first one. That was a little clunky and
Well, it was awful.
mouthy and yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it
Sniffing a
turns
lot.
out YouTube has done a absolutely piss poor job.
God, I feel like I'm on a Zoom call at work right now.
Able to edit your videos once they're uploaded. Who would have known, right? A video site with terrible capabilities of video editing. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's what Tony's room that he's sitting in now used to look like.
Before I started the
Anyway,
whiskey collection.
So kind of pick up where we
And I had
I do apologize, gentlemen.
some future topics last time we were at it last week.
I had a really bad
one of them
microphone
came
and a
up
fucking cold this time.
Honestly, I had my mind made up about
I had a pretty good mic. It picked up every time I sniffed.
The Donald
No,
Trump mic,
I think that was me sniffing.
the Coke mic.
Was it? I don't know.
Where'd it go?
Uh-oh. And let me tell you something, American people, I will totally fight you just like I fight the Colombian cartels.
Like a little Coke every now and then.
without any
Who
more
doesn't love
mystery to it. Paying college players. We you know us
Yeah, that's totally Tony.
long history of
And then now Phil's blowing his nose. He's like, "Oh man, all that sniffing."
Yeah, it made me suddenly super aware of everything going on inside my sinuses. I was like, yeah, I could maybe clear my nostrils a little bit. So I was like, yeah, that one, boy, howdy to that made me super. There we go. But yeah, so we did get
That was
better,
over 3
folks. As
years
you can
ago.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of
That
feel
was
like
what-
George Carlin at the end of the first Bill and Ted movie. They do get better.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into China.
China.
I don't know which one Yanks got pulled up first. I guess it doesn't really matter because it's all about the speculation that's to come. Chinese spy balloon. If you were on Twitter today, you've seen this, by the way. Chinese spy balloon the size of 3 buses is spotted floating over Montana for days as U.S. mobilizes F-22 Raptors to intercept. Biden wanted to shoot it down. Good on him, old man. But Pentagon advised him not to do it because of falling debris, and we kind of want to give him some information.
Yeah.
Because I was about to say, it's like, but Pentagon advised him not to because of threats and bribery from the Chinese government. I mean, because of falling debris, of course.
Because we want those documents.
Classified. Yeah.
Mm.
So I'm sorry, but like,
I'm
the
sure it was a
Chinese-
consensual decision not to shoot it down.
During the Cold War, this would have been like international incident. Like this would have been like huge
Act of war.
fucking issue. Yeah, like just shy of an act of war because there was times that they shot down some of our pilots flying over Russia and we shot down some of theirs. And you know how it is. Like when they're flying over us, this is an evil act of war. When we're flying over them, we're just checking things out.
Yeah, it was a
Window
humanitarian mission.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, Trey makes a good point because there is so much in Montana for it to fall on. True.
Yeah. True.
You might,
I mean,
you
yeah,
might hit a cow and then it would fart and get methane in the air, and then AOC would be really pissed.
that would be the season finale to the next season of Yellowstone.
Oh God,
Well,
wouldn't that
we're
be
just-
great?
We're just out here on the ranch, and oh my God, Chinese spy balloon just falls on us right now and kills one of your favorite characters from this season.
John Dutton would have shot it down for the government.
Yeah.
Yep, just
And then he
I
would have
shot it.
covered it up. He would have
Yep.
taken it out to the. He would have taken it out to the state line and kicked it over the goddamn cliff.
take it down to the train station. Yep.
Yep.
It's like
Tony
I-
still has not watched Yellowstone. I can tell.
Not yet.
Basically, Tony, all the people who thought they were bikers because they watched 3 or 4 episodes of Sons of Anarchy now think they're cowboys because they watched 3 or 4 episodes of Yellowstone.
Okay.
So that there, now you're kind of.
It all started with The Sopranos, though, because everybody thought they were Italian mobsters there for a while.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Yeah.
So anyway, massive Chinese surveillance balloon has been hovering over northern United States for the last few days. Senior defense officials confirmed on Thursday, with Joe Biden being briefed, including or Wednesday, his options included shooting it out of the sky. Biden suggested the high altitude balloon should not be shot down after it was spotted. So there was the video footage I seen on Twitter. So this is actually a really good image they have on here of what it looked like a little bit up close. But people do like the moon zoom in with the really cool Samsung phones that does the AI like artificial intelligence fill in, because it's not like real optical. This thing obviously isn't as far away as the moon, but it looked at about the same size of the moon. So there was a video of somebody like zooming in on the moon, and then they turned to the left, and then they zoomed in on this, and you can see the little black, like it looks like a satellite, but it's like the probably solar panels and shit like that. You could see that kind of imprinted on it, and it kind of looked like the moon, but that imprinted on it. And so people were like, why are there 2 moons right now? Like people were really confused and like recording videos, posting them on Twitter and shit. But yeah, it turns out it was a Chinese balloon.
Now, what's interesting is Trey Powell, if Chinese balloon is shot down Montana, does it fall on anything? Tree of the Woods question. Where was it launched from? Canada. Now, actually, fascinatingly enough, a lot of people don't know this. During World War II, the Japanese had figured out that there's an air current that travels over the Pacific Ocean, literally into the greater northwest of the United States. So, like, we're talking like Oregon, Washington State, Northern California into Idaho, and then eventually Montana. And if you would launch these balloons off this certain mountain in Japan, it would actually float over the entire Pacific Ocean, and they put a lot of bombs on them. Now, the problem is only one of them actually made it, and it fell somewhere in Oregon. And so it was a big fucking deal during the war. But that does prove the concept that if you get to a high enough point, you can actually pull a balloon all the way across the Pacific Ocean. And here it's got solar panels to power it, so it doesn't need to be recharged or repowered in any way. So this very likely could have been launched from somewhere in the Asian continent and sent this way.
Yeah, just shove it up in the jet stream, and
Off
to
it
Phil's
goes.
point,
Where
yeah,
is
and
it
that
now?
flies right over Nebraska, Kansas. Usually, that jet stream's usually pretty consistent.
Where is this thing now?
We can read through the article to see what they did.
Well,
with
I
it.
just my first thought is I'm kind of glad they didn't shoot it down, because I'm guessing that wasn't filled with helium. It was probably filled with like COVID.
Well, that's a good.
There is
point.
that. Like, yeah, the Pentagon could be like, yeah, Mr. President, no, they want us to shoot it down. That's like, it's gonna spread the next super. Like, it's just some what's in it.
It's gonna rain down COVID-23 all over all.
There's just a dude in there that's like floating up there that's got a lot of sniffles, and they're telling him to just piss off the side.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, a lot of Californians and New Yorkers moved to Montana. So,
19th century U2, it's thine beautiful day. Do not let thee slip away, thine beautiful day. Oh, sorry guys.
All right, moving on. It's delivering that Emmy to Cuomo. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
A little late there. A little late. He's now disgraced. They must have launched that shit a few years ago.
As soon as Cuomo got disgraced, he just all of a sudden fell out of the news and nobody cared anymore. How about that?
No care. No.
Because Democrats don't prosecute other Democrats. They just do the no givesies backsies.
Yep.
The other U2 feel. Oh, so you mean like the evil U2 in the Elevation video? Elevation.
Oh. Ooh. Tony, you removed the wrong fucking tile. Like,
like, yes.
Oh my God. I need a mouse. God, I fucking hate this. Oh, okay, he's muted. It's all good. All right, you can scroll down, Justin, to see. We can see what happened here with the balloon, and then we can move on to the real, the next story after that, if there is any.
I believe in you.
All right, worried about debris. Yeah, yada yada yada. Can keep going down.
Thank you, Trey. Thank you.
Let's
Yes,
see.
I'm nothing if not a consummate showman, gentlemen.
Once the balloon was detected, the U.S. government acted immediately to protect against the collision of sensitive information, they said, without specifying what actions they took. Defense source said, we know exactly where the balloon is, exactly what it is passing over, and we are taking steps to be extra vigilant so we can mitigate any foreign intelligence risk. The high-altitude balloon is spotted over Billings on Wednesday, having flown in over the Aleutian Islands through Canada and into Montana. The Pentagon said the balloon is still over the U.S., but they would not say where.
Now, I'm going to say, calling back to this comment, 19th century U2, this is like the Pentagon and the Chinese government's relationship here kind of reminds me of like 19th century homosexuals. It's like, yes, our relationship need not be specified. We know where things are. We know everything is as it should. Everything is as it shall be. This is my living assistant, Raoul. Our relationship need not be specified in any way. And yeah, so that's the
You just need
Chinese
to know it's
government and the
consensual.
Pentagon. Yes, it's all consensual, all consensual. Yes, we just live in the same flat in the 19th century. I'm just a gentleman with a rather long handshake, living with a confirmed bachelor. And so, yeah, that's kind of what, like, there's a bunch of secret shit going on between them, and they ain't telling us, and they know a lot of shit that they're not telling us. There's some shit going on behind closed doors that we probably actually don't really want to know.
Yes. We can move on to the next story, Justin. I think we get the gist of that one. We're never going to find out what happened to that fucking balloon. I guarantee that.
Trey, as soon as it hits Appalachia, you're going to have every hillbilly shooting balloons.
Yeah, there's going to be some high-powered rifles knocking that shit down. So this one, General's memo spurs a debate. Could China invade Taiwan by 2025?
Yes.
The real question that came from this memo, I'll let Justin zoom in. I can't read any of that shit.
Is talk to your kids about fentanyl?
Right. No, oh my God, that is what it said.
That's what the fucking ad says.
And Justin clicks it right away.
The real deal on fentanyl. Oh my God.
Wow. Okay. Jesus Christ. So anyway, let's see. Does it show the memo anywhere in here? Like, I really don't give a shit about the article because the memo is what's important. There's quotes on any of it.
There's Cuomo.
Basically, so a 4-star general. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I will say that most of my colleagues who are in the China circle do not believe that the Chinese attack on Taiwan is likely in the next 5 years. Yun Sun, director. So that's not the general that did this. This is the Hill getting from somebody else. So this 4-star general, I don't. If we find it, we find it. If not, that's fine.
Oh
Basically,
my God, a Cuomo ad.
Yeah,
he found work.
He's on News Nation. What's News Nation? Anyway,
basically something not as big as Big Bucking Empire.
True.
Yeah.
It's
God, it is relentless. There's a video ad.
It's Cuomo's vanity project.
The Hill's pimping fucking Cuomo hard, News Nation hard. So anyway, this 4-star general said, sent out a memo to prepare in the next few months for potential all-out war with China. And he said that he thinks the escalation will continue to rise and we will be forced into a full-scale war with China by 2025. And he demanded his troops that are under him in the Air Force to be ready within the next couple months. I think he put April as the day, or okay, maybe it says March there. So like now there's I looked this up and I read into this one a little bit, but there's over 700 and like 40 or something like that 4-star generals across the country. So, you know, we have how many people in the House and the Senate? Like, we have more 4-star generals than the crazy fucks that we have in the House and the Senate, right? So there's going to be some kooky bastards that say some crazy shit and go a little off the rails. But Phil said it earlier, broken clock is still right twice a day. What say you folks? What are your thoughts? Like, we just seen this balloon escalation today, which happened after that 4-star general released that. We know what's going on in Taiwan, and that's just a matter of time. And they actually flew jets, I believe, today or yesterday, again invading Taiwan's airspace, making Taiwan scramble their air defenses.
Making a
Like,
point.
this shit's continuing and it's escalating right now.
Now, did Taiwan open fire on these
Nope.
Chinese planes?
Nope. Not
That's
yet.
all you need to know. Sorry, that's all you need to know. China was making a point. This is our airspace, and we're proving it. Now, here's the thing. China has a problem. It wants Taiwan back badly. There's a lot of essential manufacturing there for things that are coming down the pike, technologies that we're going to need, and it all centers around Taiwan right now.
Well, in Taiwan is basically old China, the old Republic of China before the communists took over.
Yes, but like there's a lot
That's where
of
everybody escaped
like,
to, and they tried to establish, like,
to my understanding, lithium battery manufacturing, like one of the biggest manufacturers is Taiwan. And so if you want to have
Microchips,
any
lithium
piece
batteries, all
of
kinds of
the microchip lithium battery game, you better take it from Taiwan. And that's why the America wants it so bad. But the China basically knows the minute that they can make their move without direct reprisal from America, then this isn't going to be like the Ukraine issue. All China has to do is just naval blockade. That's it. And that's
they
pretty
can do
much
a
it.
small amphibious invasion, and there's already plans.
You don't even invade. It's just it's an old school, like a naval blockade is basically the old school siege of a castle, but on water and on a bigger scale. You just cut off their resources from the outside world, starve them out, and eventually they come to the negotiating table. So once that happens, China's going to take back Taiwan, and Taiwan's going to consent to China coming and taking back that land because they have no more oil, they have no more food.
China's just going to full on FBI invade Taiwan. That's how
Let me
it's
put
going to
it
be.
this way. Fucking China is going to overthrow Taiwan before Russia overthrows the Ukraine.
Possibly.
Interesting. Now, like when it comes to Ukraine, I've made this call several times. We're going to end up with Berlin Wall 2.0, where they're just going to draw some line somewhere in Ukraine. Russia's going to say, this is ours now. They're going to build, it's either going to be a bridge or they're going to build some wall somewhere. And that's going to be what we have to play political hopscotch around for the next 20 fucking years because of our feckless leadership in DC. But China taking back Taiwan is really just a matter of a couple of very prudent chess moves, because you got to remember, China can do the naval blockade if they want to. A lot of people don't know this. China actually has the world's biggest navy. They have more ships than we do. Granted, we got more big ships, but they do have more raw ships that they can put out.
We covered that like 6 months ago here on Dog and Chicken Show when they surpassed us on Navy.
Yep. And so part of that is so that they can still keep relevant trade routes open and fully blockade Taiwan if they want to. And so that's because you got to remember, folks, why does the US dollar have any value at all? To just say that it's our bullets isn't quite the complete picture. It's really our bullets, the fact that every nation trades petrol in the United States dollar, and the big one, here's the big kicker, our US Navy secures all major trade routes. That is what holds up the US dollar. And if China's Navy can now hold up major trade routes throughout the world, now China's currency becomes the world reserve currency overnight, which is why I always say, if you're wanting to teach your kids a new language, you might want to think about Chinese.
Invest in precious metals such as lead and copper.
True. Gold,
Why do you
silver,
think so many
lead,
people
copper,
are fucking ripping
brass,
off catalytic converters off cars right now? A lot of copper.
or like even better, gold, or like copper, brass, lead, and like in bullets have gone up tremendously in value as
Yeah.
of late. So that's something to keep in mind. China just has to make a few proper chess moves, and the rest of the century is theirs. Like I don't think a lot of people really
So that-
appreciate how much of a precarious position we're in with this war with
Oh, yeah.
China. So Trump was
So then-
right in his trade
Yeah.
war, but his execution was not correct.
It was, yeah, correct. So what's that do for escalation of war for us as a country?
Well,
It's always going to be there. It's going to take a sizable event, though, and I don't think a weather balloon is going to be the catalyst.
No. But like if troops touch ground in Taiwan, the United States might be
I think a
shaken to
blockade.
act.
They have to.
That's the thing, though, with a blockade.
It's worth it.
Yeah, that is no troops have touched ground. It's a trade dispute. This is something to be argued at The Hague and at the United Nations. And also the anti-war amongst the West will be able to cry high hell about like we're committing this aggressive act of invasion now. And so like, yes, granted, this is over Taiwan, but it's going to be our troops that touch ground first.
But here's the thing. If it happens within the next year and a half to 2 years, while Biden's still in office, he's gonna.
I understand we have bases there.
He's gonna do whatever he can to bend the knee for him anyway. If this happens when, say, a Trump or a DeSantis or whoever is in office after the next election, there's not going to be. I mean, they're going to push back and it's not going to kick off. So I think we're safe for the time being. And if they decide to actually try to take back Taiwan, we better have a very, very vested interest. I can imagine we'd have a better vested interest in Taiwan than we ever did for fucking Ukraine. But good luck convincing people and good luck trying to get approval, but they fucking will somehow, because they got to launder that money any way they can, into sending money to Ukraine while simultaneously sending fucking funding and aid to Taiwan as well. So I just, no.
Yeah, like that's if, like, with what they saw in Ukraine, I think China's like, all right, we're going to take a minute to just kind of hang back because apparently, like, they were wondering, are we going to actually
invade?
Well, they're kind of hanging back and saying, like, okay, is the West going to actually commit their own troops to the war? Or are they just going to commit their money and military industrial complex to the war?
And what's the online media reaction? How's the propaganda war gonna be like?
Oh, the propaganda war here in the West is A+. I mean, A+. Like you've got people believing that they know everything about the Ukrainian war, and like they think everything's going great. Everything couldn't be more peachy.
Gross how many people think they know what's going on.
Well, that's like when I had to point out the other day, it's like, guys, if you think that you're like, I have exact maps where all troop locations are in Ukraine. War is won by deception, dumb fuck. The idea that you haven't been fed bullshit is like the idea that, I mean, it's basically 100% that at some point, just about every commentator has said something untrue about the Ukrainian war because the sources themselves are putting out misinformation.
Didn't fucking Dylan go over there?
Yeah, Dylan Burns went to Poland, and I think he might have crossed into Ukrainian border a few times, but he's mostly been hanging out in Poland. And even him on the ground with as much good information as he could possibly get.
Shit.
Well, here's the thing. He might even actually knowingly be spreading misinformation because, like, okay, the Ukrainian troops, they're going to be in location A. But I'm going to report they're going to be in location B so that the Russians are looking over here. Now, here's the thing. If you have picked a side in a war like that, and you did a piece of misinformation like that, did you actually commit an unethical act?
Yes.
Technically, yes.
You took a side in a war. That's an unethical act, in my opinion.
Yep.
Okay. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're trying to end the war on one side or another, and you use misinformation to get to a victory, did you actually commit? Like, because that is when you're asking the question
about you were aggressed on. Like, so this is a principled conversation now of where like a war, in my opinion, or even a fight. Like I match aggression or exceed depending on how I feel the aggression intensity is going to be. So like Russia, Ukraine, neither of them aggressed on me. I didn't aggress on them. This is a border dispute, in my opinion. Like I have no idea why the fuck we're there. Now, if I were to get on a plane, fly over there, and pretend to pick a side or you know, clout chase on a war coverage and do my own, you know, it'd be one thing if I was doing journalism and like trying to show this both sides of everything. That's different. But if I'm picking a side and trying to be a propagandist for one side, like Dylan Burns seems like he's doing, I find that highly unethical, no matter what.
Okay. That, you know, that's a very valid argument there, because like, yeah, when you're injecting yourself into a war that you didn't really have, like, you know, let's be frank, like us in America,
He's got no skin in the game.
Yeah, we're not on the verge of speaking Russian or Ukrainian. Okay, like it's not going to happen. So I totally understand that perspective is very valid, because like to me, I kind of look at it like, you know, if you're in a boxing match of like, hey, look at this hand, bam, you know what I mean? Like it's like, yeah, there's going to be some deception involved.
Sure.
Eventually, if you're going to have any kind of victory in war. So that's just a conceit you have to make if you inject yourself into war. But that's why I always say, folks, the anti-war people are always eventually proven right over enough time. Like during the first year or two of the war, it's real tough because everyone's like, how can you not support this great, wonderful war? And everybody's talking about how much they love the war for the first 2 years. And then like when they
Even
gave
the
Zelensky
anti-war lefties can be right once in a while.
Anybody that's anti-war,
Yeah.
I said when Zelensky got Man of the Year last year in Time Magazine, I was like, that's cringe. That ain't gonna fucking age well at all. Because I keep telling liberals, people on the left and all the West, I'm begging you, I am pleading with you, please stop treating people in a war like they are fun characters on a TV show. Okay, like they're eventually going to be proven to be horrifying. Eventually, all right.
Yeah, treat it like a toy. It's weird.
Before we get back to, all right, grow the farm out. China has a lot more internal problems than is commonly discussed in the Western world. China has major economic problems. They cover very, very well. They will not be taking Taiwan. Maybe Trump knew. Grow the farm out. Trump trade war hurt China bad. Want to know how you can tell? It hurt America too. The trade war long game is kicking in. China has real issues. They are still easily our biggest rival to keep eye on.
Yeah, I've seen several articles there. Economic standards, not only population, like we keep talking about Japan's population and age, but similar things are happening in China over the next like 30, 40 years with that. But there's some people saying China's economy is going to crash in the next 10, 15 years.
I just want to point out real quick that what you just said, Chicken, and what Grow the Farm Up is alluding to here, that maybe China's in a bad position and not the superpower people think they are. This may be the first and only time Grow the Farm Up and Tiberius D actually agree on something.
Well, Tiberius is calling complete collapse of the Chinese government within 10 years because he heard Peter Zeihan say that on Joe Rogan. And so I maybe that might kick in, but like to me, I don't think even if the Chinese government were to collapse tomorrow, all that would happen is they would go from the People's Republic of China to the happy, fun time, super happy People's Republic of China. It was kind of like, remember when we were kids and all the maps would say Great Britain, and then they had a really bad economic collapse, I think the 80s or 90s, and they had to reshuffle everything, shuffle off some old debt, and then they're the United Kingdom on all the maps. So like I can see China doing that.
I do remember that, and I remember actually researching that because, like, in Fairmont Elementary and junior high, we had old books from the 80s, and everything said United Kingdom. And then when we consolidated and we all joined the same schools, we got some new books, and all of a sudden it said United Kingdom. I was like, "What the fuck?" I still call it Great Britain to this day.
Yeah.
When I refer to fucking England, whatever, I call it Great Britain all the goddamn time. Like I still do.
Yeah, and so like I could see that happening in China, and this was something. And I was on a panel.
I was
with
a
bunch
huge
of
Risk fan. I love playing Risk. And,
that's a great game. But I was on a panel with a bunch of really far left lefties and statists, and I said, this is something that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge, but this is the truth. This is true because the need for goods to move will remain constant no matter who's in charge or whatever name is on the top of the letterhead. If the Chinese government and the American government both collapsed in the same day at the exact same time, there would still be barges of goods passing over the Pacific Ocean, exchanging amongst each other. Okay, like this would still like the idea that like all these people would just vaporize. Like no, like there would still be the need for oil, there'd still be the need for trade, there'd still be the need for pork, for rice, for grain, everything to be moving back and forth. So even if these governments were to collapse, it would be kind of hard to actually measure it. And so I think, like, Tony, when you hear the Chinese government's going to collapse, I mean, you've been more skeptical about that than I have over the last few years. Like, I remember when you're like, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
and me,
I don't know about all that.
yeah. To me, I think at best you're going to see some sort of economic realignment. If Xi Jinping holds on to power, it's pretty much like I don't see any reason why they should collapse. Yeah, they cook the books. Of course they do. Okay, China's like a giant corporation with slave labor. Okay, like if you want to look at it that way, it's not a country; it's a giant corporation with a lot of slave labor.
No, and I think you're right on that one, Phil. And here's what I fear: like this whole like world economic order type shit, where you know they're trying to make like a world economy. My fear is long term down the road. Like not only like social credit scores and all that shit that scares the shit out of me. I hate all that, but what I think is going to end up start happening is it's not really going to be war anymore. It's going to be, I'm just going to buy this country. So like somebody discovers a whole bunch of oil in Zimbabwe. And all of a sudden somebody's like, oh, well, we want that one. It's going to turn into a worldwide game of Monopoly. Like we're moving that fast and everything travels so goddamn fast, information and money transfers, fucking all of the, it's so easy to do. So I get why they want to like have this world economic fucking like business wise, corporate wise, government, like China did a really good job of taking capitalism and like making it like force down people's throats in a totally different way. They made capitalism bad. Well, and I don't know, it's good for business. So I'm sure the capitalists over there like it, but I don't know. Like it's just I think the world 100 years from now is going to be so like when we talk about war today, we're still talking about shooting guns and invading countries. And in 100 years from now, I think it's just going to be who's got the most money. And then they're going to starve the citizens and fucking, yeah, they'll bleed them out of there. They'll shut off press coverage. Like we already see it today. Like, do you think anybody's over in Libya right now talking about fucking slave trades? Like we're already doing media blackouts in countries that we fucking killed the goddamn leaders in. Like, you think that's going to get any better? We're just going to buy them.
There are open air slave markets in Libya now since Obama, collapsed the Gaddafi government. So yeah, I'm sure there are some folks talking about that, but no, like what I see happening is over the next 100 years, there's going to be space exploration. And we need to really invest in getting into space and making colonies in space.
To get the fuck out of here. I get it.
Well, not just that, because if we don't,
Tony, I'm with you. Let's go.
In 10,000 years, there's going to be 1 trillion people across our solar system, at least 1 trillion people. And if we don't get down to it, all 1 trillion of those people across our solar system will be Chinese. Okay, so we need to get to colonizing the solar system immediately because the Chinese are not going to stop. Like they will do a very good job. And if they get the high ground, guess what?
Crazy.
All you need is one satellite with a tungsten rod in it that you release, let gravity do the rest, and you have all the fun and none of the fallout of a nuclear bomb. And so that is where war is going to go. It's going to be tungsten rods using gravity wells to create tremendous amount of destruction on biblical scales. And so that is going to be what warfare looks like in 100 years. So yeah, the idea of like people firing, tanks and pistols at each other is going to seem kind of quaint at that point.
Thoughts, Tony?
Everybody's like, fuck, that sounds like that sucks ass.
Oh, shit.
Damn it, another classified document.
Damn it, Biden. Shoved them everywhere.
I'm I don't know. I'm
Tony's
still
gonna whip out his dick to pee later, and he's gonna be like, "Oh my god!"
As long as I do it in the safety of my own bathroom. I'm still reeling from Phil's.
He's gonna wake up with a tattoo of classified on his butt cheek.
Yeah. I'm reeling from Phil's comment a minute ago when he said, if we're not careful, 1 trillion people are going to be Chinese.
I was like, yeah, my immediate thought was like, you xenophobe. Like,
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying the Chinese.
I know what your intent was. But...
Well, no, but I'm saying
It
like
could be
yeah,
taken out of
the
context
entire
pretty
solar
easily.
system will be inhabited by people who are descended from folks who lived in China in the 20th and 21st century. If we don't start to get our act together here in the West and America, like the entire trillion is going to be.
yes.
Let's get back to racism.
Yes,
like
Phil's
yes,
trying.
like I'm doing like Jesus Christ, but no, like I know that sounds like in our overly politicized and overly politically correct, sensitive world, that's like, but like when you actually examine what it is that I'm saying, you understand that yes, there is actually a very good. I think they did the math, and rods from God was a pipe dream. I don't know about that. Like, just think about all you need is a heavy enough tungsten rod. Let gravity do it, and then you don't have to deal with all the fallout. It might not be as big as a nuke, but you got your point across.
My thought is this. I would much rather be wasting fucking money on a space race as opposed to fighting a Cold War and then a hot war with fucking China. So
I still think
all
we
for
just
the
need to get
space
back to
race.
racism.
Jesus. Well,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but like
right.
the Chinese
As long as
government
it keeps troops off the battlefield.
is our biggest rival going forward for who gets to run humanity. Okay, this is what the great final war of everything in our world, the Cold War that we find ourselves is
showdown.
Yes, the ultimate showdown of ultimate destiny of all humanity. Like, so what is the species that actually explores the stars going to look like? Yes.
This is the
While these folks are
ultimate
singing, I want you to keep that cacophony in mind.
Bill S. Preston, Theodore Logan, Spock the Rock.
Yeah, that went off the rails.
Hogan.
But no, like I was just gonna keep cutting a promo through it, like, and as this cacophony goes, I want you to keep in mind that this is.
I'm trying to make
cacophony of our solar
background
system.
music for you, is what I was trying to do.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but
Didn't
like,
work
so
when
no,
we were
I'm,
both in the wrong bar.
but like what I'm saying is, if the Chinese get the advantage of the space race first, nobody else is getting out there. Nobody else is getting off this planet that they say doesn't. Okay, so we have to beat everybody else.
Look, if the Jamaican bobsled team can win,
oh man,
Jamaica's got a bobsled team.
We can do this.
Wow, John Candy.
All right,
he's like, you need me to do what? You
God
need me to
damn
get over a Jamaican bobsled team, huh? Jesus.
we're getting into John Candy references now. I
John
think it's time for
Candy
the
was a
last story of
fucking
the night.
amazing.
God damn it.
Talented.
John Candy is amazing. I love that.
Rest
guy.
in peace, John Candy.
Yeah,
God bless you.
One of the good ones. Another good one. Gone too soon.
All right, folks. You thought it was over.
Nope,
you thought you had
not.
won. You thought that it had all gone back to normal. However, we had to do one final study to know this was the ultimate showdown.
Okay.
1 million people studied to make sure we get an answer to the final mask debate. We're doing this. And if you want a 91 Honda Accord transmission module, I guess.
Thank God. Finally.
Justin must have a 91 Honda. I don't know. Does this finally put the mask debate to bed? I feel good.
But no, I love mask debating, chicken.
We
like
day,
some of us mask debate 5 to 8 times a day. This can't be it.
As
I
Justin
got to
said,
Phil's
them
just
rookie
the other
numbers.
day, and he was in there masturbating with himself.
Just just debating the mask and its virtues and its fallbacks. I was about to say, now if we could just get my God, I got to give the Daily Mail some credit here. Like I thought I was good at shilling, but this is
yeah,
next
their
level.
ads are next level.
Like
They do a
it's
really good job.
is there an article anywhere here?
This is like Laser Floyd in terms of ads.
Yeah,
No.
like
I didn't even know there's like text.
Yeah, and then as soon
Look
as
at
you
that
scroll
shit.
down, a pop-up hits, and there's like, buy
Oh
some
my God.
shoes.
Fucking glowing mushrooms. This is better than laser fluids.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right, let's.
So can we just get to the
scroll to the top,
actual
Justin?
headline? That'd
There
be
we
nice.
go.
Okay.
Does this finally put the mask debate to bed? Gold standard analysis of 78 studies and 1 million people finds face coverings made little to no difference to COVID infection or death rates. Wearing a mask reduced the risk of flu or COVID-like illnesses by just 5%. The Danish researchers said wearing one probably makes little or difference. Daily Mail,
Little to
fucking
no
fire your editors. Your articles are shit. You'll always fuck these up. The
Little to
study
no
cast doubt on ongoing mask recommendations from the CDC. What?
Wait, those guys that told us what everything we needed to do was?
I have no
Yeah,
idea why
but
we're doing these
they
comparison
did.
videos.
They did spectacular. Yeah.
Masks made little to no difference to COVID infection or death rates, according to one of the most comprehensive meta-analyses of face coverings. The
Meta.
research carried out by Cochrane Institute.
Giggity.
Giggity. The gold standard of evidence-based reviews looked at 78 global studies involving over 1 million people. Results indicated that surgical masks reduced the risk of catching COVID or flu-like illness by just 5%, a figure so low it may not be statistically significant. I think we knew that. I love this graphic. This is great. Let's just get the graphic here. COVID
If
mask
the ads will let
effectiveness.
us.
I know.
No,
right?
Yeah.
they're coming too.
Yeah, the
78
Jesus.
studies. This like some of these news articles, you're like, can you just like show me this kind of graphic? It tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
I don't have to read this shit.
No, we got to live with COPD and contribute to COVID research without leaving home.
Living with COPD. What are with these kids? What
What was
happened?
that?
What are we doing?
What?
Is that a chicken?
COVID mask effectiveness. Researchers analyzed 78 studies, 1 million plus participants from around the world. Surgical mask reduced COVID risk 5% compared to no mask. Wow. Benefit too small to be statistically significant. An N95 mask offered 30% better protection, as we've been saying since 2020, than
Unless
surgical
you have like
masks.
facial hair and you don't wear it properly, then it's useless.
But researchers did not consider harm of N95 masks.
Oh, like the reduction of oxygen that you get when you're trying to breathe in, or even the skin conditions you can get wearing them.
Oh, boy. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead. Like, this is
Ugly
something that
people are more likely to wear COVID face masks. Study suggests. Yes.
we all knew that. But like, this is something Scott Adams said, and he had some hyperbole and there was some sarcasm here. But like, there was an element of truth to it when he says, "Guess what? The people who are against the vaccine, the people who are against the masks, the people who are skeptical of everything, you won. You won everything."
Oh, and then people on Twitter fucking lit him up. Like, even though he gave it to him, he was like, "You guys won. You guys won." Then everybody was like, "Fuck you, Scott Adams, for telling me I won."
Yeah.
I remember that. But like, and so we now stand in this very strange crossroads where, like, 2 years ago, it was the people who were skeptical of the masks and vaccines that were on the back foot, that they were rhetorically on the back foot. But now they're like, the public has pretty much followed them, whether anybody likes it or not. Most people are just following what the anti-vaxxers and the no-maskers were saying all along, and society's kind of gotten back to normal. And especially like when I go to the big cities like Omaha and stuff like that, like I see maybe like 10, 15 people all day that are wearing a mask.
That's
so
too many.
The public has
Those are the ugly
led.
people.
The public led on this.
The people with nice eyes but a snaggletooth and a busted ass nose.
But no, like I remember during this, and it's going to affect a lot of kids moving forward, because a lot of kids said that like the mask was almost like a security blanket.
Yeah.
Because it made them feel like they were safe. Like, and that's really all it was.
That's how they were groomed to feel. That's what their
Mhm.
parents told them. Like, no,
Yeah,
because that's how they
teachers-
it's a
convinced.
bunch of
That's how they convinced the
pussies
kid to
being
wear it in the
raised.
first place. Because the kid didn't want to wear it in the first place. They had to convince the kid to wear it. And once they did that, how do you go back from that? You don't.
So, guys, what this really is here is one final satisfying mask debate. This is the final most satisfying. Like, it's just like everybody always tells themselves, that's it. This is it. The last time I'm ever gonna mask debate. I'm not gonna do it ever again after this. And then it's like, like Joe Rogan said, I thought it was past this.
Yeah, it's that.
It kind of reminds me of like
clarity.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like playing. Let's put it to video games, like
Any
Super
video
Mario
game.
Brothers 1, 2, 3. Like you're always like, oh, I'm gonna fight Bowser. This is gonna be an epic battle at the end of the game. Like you always had this ultimate showdown at the end of the game, and then you got to the N64, which I'm not knocking Mario 64, but it was really easy to beat Bowser at the end because you already knew that he wasn't that scary. He's not that big. And so like if I was gonna put like some kind of analogy to COVID masking into a video game, I'd say COVID masking was like N64's fucking Mario 64. Cause it was like, yeah, like the hard part was getting 120 stars. That's how you actually beat the game. But beating Bowser wasn't a big deal. Like you could do that in a day. It wasn't a big deal. We all knew that from the start. We're like, oh yeah, mass, yeah, okay, whatever. I beat Bowser yesterday.
Me and Tony are like, fuck you. It took us 2 months to beat Bowser. What the fuck, man?
Sure, yeah, it was totally easy.
Yeah, it's totally easy in an afternoon. Yeah.
But okay, maybe it's a bad analogy. Fuck you guys. All right, let's get back to racism.
Jesus. Okay. Let's see.
You put
I'm
that
sure there
fucking
was
down right now. All right.
I'm sure there was one or two. Oh no.
Chicken's boycotting the show.
Because Tony put up cowboy.
I got
didn't even do
removed.
it.
Fucking Justin, you dick.
I didn't.
Our producer's drunk.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, if that's the case,
Is it that time already? Oh yeah, we're hitting the 2-hour mark. Yeah.
yep. As I'm known to say around here,
Oh,
folks.
yeah.
All that being said, thank you for joining us here at the Big Buckin' Empire on YouTube and Facebook. I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E., the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes you the podcast hour. You can find me, of course, at K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. Folks, I hope all of you make it back here happy, healthy. Oh my God, I overpoured, much the wiser. God bless every last one of you. Folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. I can't wait to see you back here at Big Buckin' Empire, KOE Nation, all the crazy places. And gentlemen, are we doing a post show or am I going live?
I don't go live, Phil. Go live.
Okay. I will be going live at KOE Nation shortly.
And here we are.
In about 15 minutes, folks, at 10:45.
Tony, do you want to chug that?
Folks.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yes,
you do.
folks, we can go a little deeper into that. But I think, like, as brilliant as I am, and boy, am I ever brilliant, I think we can move onward and upward here, you beautiful people. So, yeah, Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan's fucking awesome. Let it lay with your monkey bread. Oh man, it's just good stuff. But folks, before we move onward and upward with this evening, I figured this is something that I've been hanging on to for some years now, and I'm just kind of going through the stuff that I haven't gotten into for a long time. So we're going to get into a review of this particular bourbon. Welcome, one and all, to the KOE Nation for this very long time coming review of Bullet Bourbon Frontier Whiskey, batch number 3, barrel strength, folks. I am your King of Extreme, Phil KOE, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower. You can, of course, find me at KOE Nation on YouTube, KOE Nation on TikTok, KOE Nation on Twitch. That is, of course, KOE Nation on YouTube, KOE Nation on TikTok, KOE Nation on Twitch, folks. And I am going to give you this review that has been a long time coming. Uncut, limited bottling, Bullet Bourbon Frontier Whiskey Barrel Strength, 61.7 alcohol by volume. Batch number 3. Bottled by the Bullet Distilling Company, Louisville, Kentucky. Now, this is one that some folks love them, some folks hate them. Just depending on who you are is what your opinion on Bullet is. But I found actually the story of the Bullet Distillery right here. So on comes the glasses of Extreme, folks. Yes, you get the glasses of Extreme. So let me pour this. Let it sit in the glass. The last time I got into this whiskey was for the Bullet line review about 2-3 years ago. And then Tony got into a little bit of this in a card game. I let a few other friends try it, and that was the last time we really ever had anybody get into it. So, all right, let's let that sit for a moment while we get into the story of Bullet. Starting at the beginning, there was Augustus Bullet, a tavern keeper in the 1830s in Louisville, Kentucky. During that time, he dedicated himself to one goal of creating a uniquely flavored bourbon. After experimenting with a number of variations, he ended up with a bourbon with the character he had wanted. The uniqueness he found came from the high rye content in the mash bill. From then on, Augustus continued to produce bourbon until his disappearance in 1860. Nice. They don't even know how he died. He just kind of disappeared. Well done. One day, while transporting his bourbon on a flat-bottom boat downriver from Kentucky to New Orleans, Augustus vanished. What happened to him after 1860 is still largely unknown. Fast forward over a century, and we have Tom Billet, who is the great-grandson of Augustus Billet. Tom decided to leave a successful career in the legal profession. He had a dream of reviving the family's old bourbon recipe. It was a big risk to take in his life at the time. It's hard not to think of Jefferson and his, quote, with great risk comes great reward, end quote, quote. It is said that when he approached his father about starting in the bourbon business using the family recipe, his father told him, quote, that's between you and your banker, end quote. Well done. That's good. That's good advice. So Tom started the Bullet brand in 1987, rather. He did not use his family's history originally in the backstory of the brand. The original bourbon was centered around Kentucky horse racing. Ancient age distilling, Buffalo Trace, contract distilled and bottled the original expressions. The first bottles were released in 1995. The brand was eventually purchased by Seagram's Distillery, where the current bottle and, quote, frontier whiskey tagline were crafted to go with the original family story for the recipe. Sadly, Seagram's was later sold and assets divided between two companies, Diageo and Pernod Richard. Bullet was acquired by Diageo, who continues to foster the brand's success. I never get that one right. All right. The origin is Kentucky. Distiller, unknown. Sourced and bottled by Bullet Distilling Co. in Louisville, Kentucky. Mash bill, 68% corn, 28% rye, 4% malted barley. Cask, new charred American oak. Aged, non-aged statement, blend of 5 to 8 year old bourbon. ABV proof varies. This batch number 3 comes in at 61.7, 123.4 proof. Price varies by region. Picked up for, I got mine for about $65, to be totally fair. So, now you got the backstory for this particular bourbon. Now, let's see how it hits the nose. There's a copper, a cinnamon, a slight sweet, some vanilla, and a bit of oak. Yeah, this is going to be very enjoyable. Slanjava. Ooh. Ooh, that's a little warm. Ooh, that's got some heat to it, folks. Oh my. Hot baking spice, cinnamon pepper. Um the slightest hint of a stewed apple. Just the slightest hint, but not much. A lot of heat, a lot of cinnamon, not very much oak. I figured there'd be a lot more oak. Interesting. Well, for those who do not know, we grade around here on a 5-star scale. 5 meaning you have to have it before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E Nation has advised you well. So we're going to grade this as a bourbon, as a whiskey, as a cask-aged spirit. It's shelving. And for those new to the show, secret 5th question. So, as a bourbon, this is just right on. When it comes to a bourbon, this is right on. God almighty. I'm going to say 4 stars as a bourbon because it's just so prototypical of the type. It just demonstrates bourbon. It screams bourbon at you. So, yes, I'm going to give it 4 stars as a bourbon. As a whiskey, I'm going to be a lot less generous and give it 3.25 stars because, yes, you can cocktail it, but it's mostly just a heat bomb. Like, most of this comes in the fact that it's such high proof. So I suspect if you put too much water in it, it's just going to be like standard, regular old bullet. But boy, this is good where it's at. In terms of cask-aged spirit, I'm going to go with 375. 375 is cask-aged spirit. Between 5 and 8 years. Excellent bourbon. Just sticky on your palate. Like, it just completely coats the palate. Excellent cask-aged spirit. In terms of its shelving, I was going to say bottom, but no, this is a middle shelf. This is middle shelf bourbon. Excellent stuff if you you know what you're getting into. And in terms of the secret 5th question, when this bottle runs empty, will I seek another one? I think I would probably go for store picks instead, just to kind of explore that, or bullet 10-year. Just standard batches of these barrel strength. I really like it, but I want to explore their store picks more before I get back into this. So I'm going to say immediately no, but I think I might settle back here after enough time. So, folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us here at the K.O.E Nation for this very special, long time coming spirits review of Bullet Bourbon Barrel Strength, folks. I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes you the podcast hour. You can, of course, find me at K.O.E Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. And I'm hoping all of you make it back here to the K.O.E Nation happy, healthy, much the wiser. God bless every last one of you. Can't wait to find you on the flip side. Catch you later, folks. And that, folks, is how the sausage is made. Yes. But you know what? Lord Almighty. You know what, folks? I'm gonna put on something for you. Put on something that I'm kind of happy that I did. I'm a little proud of it. It's pretty much a breakdown of one of the big controversies we had not too terribly long ago. And what this is, folks, is the truth about Steven Crowder. And so, yeah, I'm going to my breakdown of this is just too perfect. So I figured, why the hey not? The man that makes the other podcast cower. I am. The prince and potentate of the political parlance, the lord of the Scottish Highlands himself, and one damn handsome man, if I do say so myself, folks. And we are here to get into all of the big topics of the day, but we're going to get into one of the biggest topics of the day right here on the K.O.E Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. Yes, folks, that's K.O.E Nation, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch. It's the place to be for you, the place to be for me, the place for all within sundry, K.O.E Nation. But folks, today is a very, very important topic. A lot more important than we really ever thought it would be. Because this, folks, is the truth about Steven Crowder. Now, he's been in the news lately, hasn't he, folks? Oh, boy, has he. Because little did we know that woe is us if Steven Crowder would have signed that contract. Oh, good Lord Almighty God. This was a very interesting moment. And it's what I like to call a battlefield flare moment. I remember when I was younger and I was reading about accounts of World War I, battle flares would go up into the air and you could see where everybody was on the battlefield for a moment. And that's kind of what moments like these are. It kind of lets these flares off and you can see where everybody is in the social, in the, you know, the great culture war that is America for the last 30 years. And this is an interesting moment because this isn't just a pay scale thing. This really is, it's the idea, because Crowder wants to make this alternative, but the idea is, well, if big tech can just punish you willy-nilly and your money's gone because of it, this isn't really an alternative. Because, folks, I'm going to get into the transcript a little later, but what you need to realize is this is the big thing. Daily Wire's business model is YouTube's terms of service. That's the business model. If that's the contract that you're signing, that whatever YouTube's terms of service says from day to day, well, we all know that rug can get ripped right out from under you at any time. There's probably at least 1,000 content creators you can think of, if given enough time, that have had some rug ripped out from under them on YouTube for one reason or another. And so that is just ridiculous on the face of it, that anyone would ever sign a contract that, oh my God, the minute YouTube's terms of service changes a little bit, you're just fucked. Because let's be frank, folks, that's what it really was. When you boil down to it, the terms of service became the business model. And Steven Crowder does have a very right opinion when he says that's not an alternative. That isn't an alternative at all. That's just everything else. Let me make one. Okay, yes, I want to just make double dog sure you're getting every beautiful sound that is my voice. But folks, yes, that is the big fish of this, if you will, the cause of all this. And I know that's a lot of money. It sounds like a lot of money. But folks, let's be frank. The people who say that that's a contract you should sign, that's one of those people. It's like, okay, tell me you don't math without telling me that you don't math. Because imagine you make $40,000 a year and then YouTube demonetizes you for some reason because you said something on Twitter that they don't like. And now you make $30,000 a year. I mean, like, it's not exactly like that, but you understand. Yeah, actually, it is exactly like that. So, folks, like, we could understand that that's ridiculous on the face of it. And actually, if you do the math, there is a non-zero chance where Crowder could actually be having to pay back in. And so that's one of those, if you know how much money it actually costs to get a contract actually written up, and the money you're going to spend to basically delete each line and put a new one in, like, it's just like, no, just start over again. Like, and so, yeah, the offer was an insult. And it didn't matter if, oh, we would have negotiated with a counter offer like that. That's a pretty big insult for a guy like, let's be frank, Daily Wire. They've only got a handful of stars, and Crowder was a big one. Jordan Peterson's a huge one. Candace Owens is pretty big. Like, whether anybody wants, like, love her or hate her, Candace Owens is a star. Ben Shapiro, he's a star. So they do have some star power, but they needed Crowder bad. And this was kind of an insulting offer. I can understand it. So now here's the thing. I actually have the transcript from Crowder's show right here before me, folks. And I'm going to break down a couple of the metrics here. So, this actually calls for the glasses of extreme. Yes, folks, the glasses of extreme. And this is Steven Crowder on his own show, his transcript from the 17th of this month. Louder with Crowder posted to YouTube. Steven Crowder host. Here's the worst part. Do not, kids, under any circumstance, sign a contract with people who claim to be conservative, but will penalize you 25% for any demonetization or sponsor boycott. Look, let me read this to you. If any of the major platforms, no, I'm sorry, that's the second one. Let me go back to the first one. There's another 20%. It's 45% if you get a content strike. Let's start with the demonetization. If blank is boycotted or dropped by more than 50% of the advertising partners, the company is not able to replace within 90 days, the fee will be reduced by 25%. That's a sponsorship boycott. So that's saying, hey, liberals, boycotts work. They work on our guys. We'll punish them for you. Let me go on. Specifically, YouTube demonetization. If any of the major platforms issue a content strike such that Crowder cannot be monetized on such platform, and the company is not able to resolve the issue within 90 days, the fee will be reduced by 25% moving forward. Now, I thought this was a mistake because, these people didn't know who I am, and we've been demonetized for 3 years. No, it's made very clear to me in no uncertain terms, this is what's sent out to everybody. And then if you get into it, if you get a strike, meaning a suspension, another 20% reduction. And then another 20% of what if it happens on Apple, and then another 10% if it happens on Facebook, and then another 10% if it happens on Spotify. Imagine you're deplatformed, and as we've seen in the past, where all of the major entities decide to remove you in one day, rather than having a conservative alternative, you would now be down to 5 to 15% of revenue of your contract. Think about this for a second. Those in charge, the big conservative, the big con, and it really is the biggest con going right now, they're making it known in their contracts that they will enforce the guidelines of big tech and punish conservatives on their behalf. Don't worry. Trust me, these conservatives will stay in line. If they get demonetized, we'll take away 25% of their operating budget. Take another 20% sway if they get a hard strike. Hey, don't worry, Zuckerberg. We got your back. Hope to see you at the UFC Apex. So, folks, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of scratch. But you got to realize the fact that he's demonetized on YouTube, on the face of it, it's already not a $50 million contract. The day it starts, it's not 50 mil. So, the big question that we all need to ask ourselves is, are we ready for our jobs to start to be connected to how we're perceived on social media? Because, like it or not, it's a good thing that there's some public pushback on this, because God almighty, could you imagine if what got you a Facebook suspension in like 2016 or 2013 is now a reason you're not getting a promotion at your, like, that's the Chinese social credit score. Okay, so this is a little bit wider than just little old Steven Crowder. Okay, and this is, how are we going to structure our society? And I know that sounds like how can it be that wide? But literally, this is going to be something that's going to push into all of our lives. This is the digital manifestation of the idea that the personal is political. And I don't know how any of us feel about that, folks. This is a very uncomfortable new world we find ourselves creeping up to. And so I'm glad that there's somebody giving some sort of public pushback to this. Now, the numbers are big, but like I said, okay, if rather than 50 million, if any of you made like 40,000 a year and you sign this contract and suddenly Facebook doesn't like you and they knock off 10% of your income, or if you get a strike on YouTube and they don't like you anymore, you could lose up to 45% of your income because there's going to be people that are going to push for that, not just in the digital sphere. Eventually we're going to get there. So we kind of need to hammer these issues out right now, don't we, folks? And so that is the unfortunate reality. Well, hey, Nate Down says we don't feel great. The great Nate Down. Steven Crowder can math, says grow the farm up, which is very true. If you can math, you're not going to sign this contract. But yes, the great Nate Dallin, an attorney so good, as I've said, Johnny Cochran's Force Ghost asks him for legal advice. And also grow the farm up, one of the true green thumb mad scientists of this world. Go check him out. But yes, folks, this is terribly bad. We need to make the best we can with the time we have left before truly all of your personal is now political, whether you like it or not, because that's where we're going here soon, folks. So it's one of these things. We better start pushing back on it now. We better say this is the line and we shall go no further. Otherwise, you give an inch. We've seen it. Big tech with the government's blessing will take another mile, because this is something that I've actually said on many other shows. And I say this with zero hyperbole, no exaggeration. I call it techno-fascism, because Mussolini, a guy who actually ran an openly fascist government, he was an asshole, but the guy actually ran an openly fascist government, so he'd probably know a thing or two about it. He said that he defined fascism as the merger of state and corporate power. The merger of state and corporate power. And what that is the state using its leverage over, in this case, big tech companies, to achieve goals that they otherwise, and prerogatives that they otherwise couldn't achieve through law and legislation. They're using their leverage in one way or another over these tech companies to achieve what they otherwise couldn't. And so that is, in our modern day, what I've labeled techno-fascism, and I'm afraid it's going to grow as the years go. And so this is one of those times to push back on it a little bit, folks. Nate Dallin says, Crowder's solution is create a separate business environment without a progressive in it at all, right? I'm not exactly sure, but I'm definitely all ears. Like I always like alternatives. Like I'm one of those folks that just I love a good underdog story, and I love anything big. When I was growing up, I liked the other thing about it. Like that was just the way I was. I was rock and roll when everybody was into country. So grow the farm up. Imagine you work at a job for $40K a year, but your salary will be reduced by 20% if you violate the YouTube terms of service using big tech to you as the governing body that sets your actual salary. Think about it. Yeah, I was just talking about that a bit ago, grow the farm up, because we were discussing that earlier, and I was like, wow, would you sign that employment contract today, or just keep your job as it is? I mean, yeah, that's a very good point. Most people are just like, yeah, I'm gonna just not do that. Hey, Osiris, that's not how entertainment contracts work at all. And Osiris comes in like, whoa, dang. I don't have my sunglasses, so you're just gonna have to deal with the glasses of extreme for a moment. But imagine these are sunglasses. Hollywood Osiris comes in. So yes, with like, whoa, kid. Let me tell you how it's done in the big time. Let me tell you when you get to the big top of the circus, this is how it's done, kid. And so, okay, whoa, all right. But yeah, thanks for being here, Osiris. God bless. But yeah, this is one of those. And Osiris says that's not how entertainment. But let's be honest. Also, Crowder's a unique star. It's like there's certain people that do kind of get unique contracts and some unique carve outs. So let's be frank. Let's be honest here, though, folks. When people say it's not about the money, it's a little bit about the money. It's a little bit about it might just be the tiniest bit about, because the reason Crowder didn't sign that contract is because he is almost damn sure, and I would bet on it. Like if Crowder was publicly traded, I'd be long Crowder right now. Okay. Like I'd be shorting Daily Wire. I'd be long Crowder right now. If those people were publicly traded. Oh God, I just gave Wall Street an idea. Oh God, I'm sorry. But yes, I would be long Crowder right now. Because yes, he is going to make more money on his own than he would otherwise. So I can't begrudge the man for not signing it, because if he starts his own thing, it's gonna be fucking huge. Okay, he's got the Mug Club, folks. There's always you can always build new personalities. So I think Crowder's gonna be fine if he goes off on his own and he bets on himself. I've seen it many times in many industries, many entertainment venues, even, where somebody decides to go bet on himself and they do amazing. So I have no doubt in my mind Crowder is gonna do well. And I gotta say, am I the only one that sees a little bit of irony? And that the Daily Wire, in its essence, is an entertainment venue. I mean, sure, it's news, but it's an entertainment venue. Let's be honest here. And one of the key personalities running it, his name is boring. I could just leave that there, don't I? I don't have to do anything. Like, all the jokes in your head have already been written. Like it's too easy. Even I can't. Like, no, I'm not gonna. I can't do it. It's too easy. Hey, maybe if your content wasn't so boring on the Daily Wire. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. The door was open. I had to walk through. There was a perfectly good joke. Nate Dallin says he did start his own thing and he is using this to fight as a launch pad. Yes. And it's got attention. It's got me talking about it. It's got you talking about it. It's got us all talking about Steven Crowder. That brilliant bastard. That no good so-and-so. So, God Almighty. So, good on you, Steven. You got the most out of this. Now, some people are freaking out about the phone call thing. And, oh my God, it's recorded. I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I just assume everything I say the minute I'm in front of this mic, whether I'm live or not, is recorded. And it's like in the public opinion court that is Twitch, anything and everything you say can and will be used against you in a court of public opinion. So help you God. And so, yeah, that's the unfortunate reality of that. Grow the farm up. Plus, the DW pushed all production costs of the show onto Crowder. True. 12.5 mil a year, show production, and 25 full-time employees comes out of the 12.5. And yeah, let's be frank, Crowder's employees are probably all making six figures or pretty damn close to it. And then his match. So let's just assume at least 25 people, couple of million in just wages, and then match, and then oh God. And so yeah, that starts getting whittled down pretty quick. Like, you don't realize, like, when And he even straight up said, like, each of his Change My Mind sketches, which, those are legendary. That was what kind of got my attention, even like, okay, Crowder did another Change My Mind. He said those cost about $40,000 each time. And I'm thinking, what, in just the insurance premiums? Like, who in their right mind would insure that? And so that was my first thought, is like, yeah, it probably cost just an insurance, because your insurance company's like, well, yes, one of these times the cameras, the mics, and the equipment is going to be destroyed, and someone is going to be injured because you're going to set them off. And so, like, yeah, that's one thing I've often wondered about is, God Almighty, how do you even go about insuring that? So yeah, like when you actually break it down, like, it's one of those things. And unfortunately, you got to realize, like, I know 12 mil sounds like a lot, but this is an inflated Biden's America. So like, that's like $2 million in like 1996 money. Okay. Like if we were to go back, like, yeah, that's like, okay, back in 1996 when real money was still kind of real. Like, but all right, Grow the Farm Up also says, company overhead, benefits, salaries, studio space. That's going to cost $7 million plus taxes. They offered Steven Crowder a few mil a year for his entire catalog of intellectual property. Daily Wire is done. I don't know if they're done, because Ben Shapiro is a very shrewd businessman, and he's going to find a big star out there, and he'll bring that star into the fold. And he's very good at keeping himself in the headlines, and even in all this Crowder mess, Ben Shapiro, without having to say a word, is in the headlines, isn't he now, folks? And so, yeah, this is Crowder's, to his credit, got more attention on him than anybody on the internet right now. He's the darling for the week. You know what I mean? Like, so it would take like a major international event to pull the attention off him right now. So, to his credit, well done, sir. Well done. But let this be a lesson to you, kids. Don't just read the big numbers on the contract. The fine print means a thing or two. I'm sure this guy would probably agree with that. Read the fine print of your contracts, kids. Invest in a really good, like almost magnifying set of glasses. So if you got to read that bad boy. So yeah, so Crowder read his contract and did math and said no. And he's like, you're not doing this to other kids, are you? You're not bringing up new little morons and saying, hey, look at this big number here, but it ain't gonna last long, kid. Yep. And yeah, so you assume that might be what a lot of the up and comers have to deal with, but who knows? Who knows? We will find out more, apparently, because Jeremy Boring will painstakingly go over every line of something with you. If he feels so challenged that you have besmirched him in some way, he is going to go over every line of a document, by God, and living up to it. Name checks out. So, folks, I don't know. Like I said, I'm long Steven Crowder, but I'm curious where it goes from here, because unfortunately we've seen big tech, if they want to make you disappear, they can just make you disappear. You can just poof, be gone the next day. Nate Dillon, I don't think it was a great offer sheet. No. Like, the numbers were nice, but when you got, like, at one point he could be paying back in if shit got real bad. And so, yeah, always do the math on the contract. Grow the farm up. What's funny is the Daily Wire outed itself when they didn't need to. Daily Wire showed us all that your Daily Wire subscription fee is not a hedge against big tech censorship, as they claim. Daily Wire whole business model is YouTube TOS. Okay, that's folks, is a great point, and I'm going to repeat that again because your subscription fee to the Daily Wire is not a hedge against the big tech censorship like they so claim. Excellent way of putting that, Grow the Farm Up. It's not. Their entire business model is just whatever YouTube's terms of service happens to say today. Okay, it doesn't matter otherwise. Whatever it says today, so whatever random caprice happens to fall in whatever random employee at YouTube is your business model. And you want somebody to sign a long-term contract based on that. Foundations built on sand have had better standing, okay? Like, I'm sorry, like, every one of us within the sound of my voice can think of at least 10, 15, 20, 30 great content creators that had the rug ripped right out of them for no good reason because some random YouTube employee had some random caprice in their head that changed everything. Okay, so this is obviously you wouldn't sign a contract based on that. But like I said, there's much wider implications for all this. Well, Crowder, you got yourself in some trouble here, didn't you, son? God almighty. Got to keep my singing voice in fetch. So, folks, I'm curious where you think Crowder goes from here, because, like I said, the big tech wall will hit you. Like I was saying earlier, that when they decide to make you disappear, if you're somebody that's entirely made by social media, you can be entirely disappeared by social media. And a great example of that is like some of the folks we've seen in the last few years that were just here today, gone tomorrow. Like you got like the Andrew Tate story, where he was entirely a social media creation and then just gone. And then, you know, his own problems hit him too, and his own debauchery hit him. So, you know, God always gets you in the end. But anyways, so this is one of those, Steven Crowder understands you can't let social media make you. And you certainly can't let them be the deciding factor in whether they break you or not. And to his credit, he's working hard. He's working hard for some sort of alternative. And God bless him. I'm going to say that. God bless him. You know, I have nothing personally against the Daily Wire. Like I said, they got some star power there. I mean, Jordan Peterson's huge. But no matter who you are on the right wing, Jordan Peterson is star power. Okay? If you found out he was going to be at a thing 100 miles away from, or like 50 miles away from your house, you'd probably go check it out. Okay? Like he's just one of those internet stars now. Steven Crowder, he's going to start his own thing now. He's going to start his own AEW, I guess. And we'll see how that goes. I got nothing but big hopes for him, because I know he's going to, at this point, you can kind of see it. Like there's been a fire lit under his ass. And now, like, it's kind of like the old, in Rocky, it's like why Sylvester Stallone wasn't allowed to box Mr. T. His trainer comes like, "'Cause he's hungry, Rock. You ain't been hungry in years." And now Crowder's hungry again. And so we're going to see where this goes. And I'm actually quite, I am entertained. Are you not entertained? Yes, folks. Like, come on. This is the kind of infighting that the right wing needs. Live on YouTube for everyone to see. Not any of the backroom nonsense of yesteryear and days of yore. This is the kind of, like, you know, we all get a merry, jolly good time out of it regardless. So, folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us here tonight for The Truth about Steven Crowder. I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E., the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower. You can find me at K.O.E Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch, and I hope this message finds all of you happy, healthy, much the wiser, and I hope you make it back here happy, healthy, much the wiser. All of you beautiful people, raise a glass to yourselves. God bless every last one of you. I hope you make it back here to K.O.E Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch for us to come together for all the issues of the day and to go through this crazy adventure we call life together. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. God bless every last one of you beautiful people. You know, I couldn't even say it better myself. So, I mean, my goodness. Folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us for this very special chill stream, folks. It was a great time with all of you. And now I'm going to leave you off with the poem of the week, folks. This is the poetry of Emily Bronte, Spellbound. So, folks, God bless every last one of you, and I hope all of you make it back here to the K.O.E Nation, happy, healthy, much the wiser. God bless every last one of y'all. Catch you on the flip side, folks. How we doing, all y'all? It's time for another poem of the week. This one is called Spellbound by Emily Bronte. The night is darkening round me. The wild winds coldly blow. But a tyrant spell has bound me. I cannot go. The giant trees are bending. Their bare burrows wait with snow. And the storm is fast descending. And yet I cannot go. Clouds beyond clouds above me, wastes beyond wastes below, but nothing dear can move me. I will not, cannot go. Folks, that was this poem of the week. If you've got a poem you'd like me to read, or you'd like me to read your poem, please just let me know down in the comments. I love the imagery of beautiful poetry. And folks, God bless. Travel well. That was this poem of the week.